And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, I have a problem over in Israel. No more peace in the Middle East. Well, there probably was never peace in the Middle East, and there probably won't ever be peace in the Middle East. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, you have Hillary Clinton suggesting re-education camps, debriefing centers, deprogramming facilities for what they say, MAGA Republicans, right-wing conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearers, Trump supporters, whatever they want to call us. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Joe Biden's second dog has been evicted from the White House over another biting incident. Well, actually, 11 biting incidents. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, speaking about Joe Biden, he is building 20 miles of border wall down in South Texas, Starr County, right along the border, after he said he would not build one more foot during the 2020 campaign. I wonder what happened. Is 20 miles going to be enough? I doubt it, but we'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, we got to talk about Big Pharma and the drug Ozempic, and also Walmart, also known as Big Brother, tracking your shopping habits and your drug habits. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And this is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description. Or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And when you're over there, please give me a 5-star rating, a review, whatever you can to increase our podcast popularity on those platforms. And before we get into everything that we got going on, I got quite a few videos that I've not shown you guys. I may be able to show some things from the war, but I might not be able to. These things are very graphic. I think I'll put those on the website. There should be some things on my website right now related to that. But before we get into anything, y'all know how I do. First things first, shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Link for them will be in the description, or just go to patriotpost.us and tell them that ABL sent you. Also, go to my merch website, ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. That link will always be in the box. Let me get my microphone straight right here. Sorry for the loud noise that there was one. Had to get that tightened up because that was really bothering me. But as I continue, so patriotpost.us, ablmerch.com, and also anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. I write articles for each video that I produce. And in the article, you'll be able to find full-length videos that I could not post on the YouTubes, uncensored footage, sometimes war, sometimes whatever. As long as it's legal, it'll be right there on my website, anthonyblogan.com. You can also fact check me through my website, because I will always have links. I will always cite my sources on the website, and I'll have left wing, right wing, independent, whatever, right there as sources. Again, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go there, be there. Also go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, my Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram. All that good stuff is right there on the contact page. I almost forgot what I was saying as far as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All that's right there on the contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can also see what method of communication I use. So if you're ever wondering, hey, am I speaking to ABL right now on the internet about this particular get rich quick scheme to buy 100 trillion Bitcoins for the price of one? I buy one Bitcoin to get 1 trillion free. All you got to do is send $100,000 to some random account. The account will have my face on it and my name on it. So you think it's ABL, but you'll be conversing with someone using the email, I'm a Nigerian scammer at hotmail.com. Let's not do that anymore. Let's be on the lookout for these scammers because they do exist. They exist on my channel and other channels. And as I always say, every single stream, here's what they'll do. So I post a new video. You comment on my video. Someone replies to your comment and it looked like me. It looked like ABL. It looked like they got my face as their profile picture. They have a similar name to me. And then they say, hey, my friend, please contact me at this email right here and I will get you some money today. If they say that to you, you might want to say, you know what? Maybe that's not ABL. Maybe that's not him using I am 1,000 pounds in my basement at hotmail.com. Maybe that's not ABL. So please, oh, please, oh, please do not give these people any money. I'm not going to be in the comments trolling, asking you to email me about some get rich quick scheme. I'm not going to do it. So if you're ever wondering, hey, what was that ABL in my comments? I promise you it's not. It's going to be a guy that sounds like this, huh? Or it's going to be somebody over in some old Soviet country that is weighing 1 million pounds laying on the ground. So please, oh, please, oh, please, let's not do that in 2023 or anytime after that because don't nobody got no time for that. All right. And I'm going to say it every stream because, again, sometimes I get emails from y'all. Oh, yeah, I get emails, angry emails. I trusted you. Look, it's not me. You're talking to him right there. It's not to me, huh? My gosh. Idiot. Anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, I don't know where to start. We got so much going on. It's just crazy. It's a lot happening. We got some really serious things. We got some not so serious things. So I kind of want to start a little bit light. I want to start a little teensy bit light, and then we're going to keep on rocking and rolling. All right. Now, speaking about world news, before we get to the real heavy stuff, Paris. Now, Paris is not doing very well when it comes to its cleanliness. And I won't get into the details of how dirty Paris is, but you guys pretty much know. And I think they're going to host the World Cup. Like what, next year? Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. Paris World Cup. Well, that's right now, ain't it? They're doing something next year. I don't know what it is. They're doing something next year, and it's something. Let me see what they got. Oh, it's the Olympics. So they're hosting the Olympics next year, 2024. I mean, it's going to be a mess. You know, one thing about Paris is that it's been kind of a dumpster for a long time. You may see the Eiffel Tower and think that it's so dreamy and you kind of fantasize about Paris going there. But when you actually live there, it's a little bit different. When you actually go to Paris and experience it beyond what the pictures of the Eiffel Tower are, it's going to be a little bit different. All right. Yeah. So I'm not going to go to Paris. For a long time, it's been like that. You know, this kind of reminds me, and if I'm wrong or I might be saying things a little bit incorrectly, y'all please correct me. You guys are very smart in the comments, historians in the comments. But wasn't it like back in the day, they tried to move royalty, the ruling class, away from Paris? And the commoners, the villagers, the workers, the lower class, they left Paris to them. They left it in squalor. So any kind of complaints about living conditions or whatever, it wouldn't even really get heard because the royalty, the ruling class would be way out far away. And the people that are the constituents suffering will be languishing in poverty in Paris, a dumpster. It'd be a dumpster. So, yeah, you got a lot of different things going on. You got the historical reality of that dynamic of Paris pretty much being left to the pigs. And then you have the unfettered illegal immigration or legal immigration, whatever they want to call it. The cultures not really meshing together. You have Versailles. Thank you. Correct. Yeah, they went to Versailles. They went to Versailles and then left the Parisians just to be in squalor. All right. So that's what's going on. Now, this young man right here is going to tell you what's happening with Paris. Now, of course, the young man is pretty zesty, but through his zestiness, it's okay. We can still appreciate someone that is telling the truth. Let's go ahead and roll it right here. All right, let's get a little bit of sound. And if you've been to Paris recently, y'all let me know if this guy is on point or off point. Let's check it out. And there we go.
Y'all save all y'all money, all y'all lives to come here. Let me be the one to break your bubble. First of all, Paris stink. It smelled like piss, cheese, and armpit. Child, even the damn pigeons was crazy. It ain't nothing to do but eat at cafes. You will see a cafe on every corner because there's no activities here and the food is so mid. That's why there's hella fast food, American fast food chains, because their food don't taste like shit. And that shit...
Part in the cursing, it's not my fault. You got to blame the young man right here.
It looked grimy as hell. Paris looked grimy as hell and dungeon, post-apocalyptic. Everywhere you go, it was graffiti. The buildings weren't inviting. They weren't welcoming. It was actually a horror sight to see. Like, this was shocking to me.
Is this Paris? Is this the beautiful place I hear about? The beautiful place everybody talks about? The place of romance? Is this Paris?
They will never show you that this is what Paris really looks like. In the Eiffel Tower, child, this was the trail to the Eiffel damn Tower. This was the most.
Now, the caption right here, it says, the walkways toward the Eiffel Tower are all dirt. Back accordingly. So it's like, this is the way to go to the Eiffel Tower. Now, I guess this would have made sense in the 15th century to have this kind of walkway because you got all kind of waste and whatnot on the streets, but 2023, we can't get that paved. We can't get some cobblestone or something to spruce it up a little bit. That seems kind of ridiculous. You got dirt with potholes in it. I never seen dirt with potholes. That's kind of crazy.
Child, this was the trail to the Eiffel damn Tower. This was the most hype shit I've ever seen. Outside of this tower, it ain't shit to do. There's no mime culture. They don't know how to capitalize off their culture. It's just this damn.
So I'm reading some of the captions on here. It says people will tell you to go to the Eiffel Tower at night because in the day it looks like rust. Of course, it looks good at night. That's why they say turn the lights off when you. Well, I ain't gonna say that. You don't learn much about French culture because they don't capitalize off of things they're known for, like mimes. Like, you know, anytime someone says a place look better at night, it's a red flag.
Damn tower. That's it.
So no music. I want to play the music right there and have him give me a copyright. But he's just not having a good time in Paris. Now, I've not been to Paris personally. If you guys have been to Paris, he's reading the book in here. If you guys have been to Paris, do you think what he's saying is correct, incorrect? Y'all let me know what's going on. Because it doesn't look too inviting to me. It looks like I probably don't want to go there. You know, maybe I would go just to say, okay, I went. But, I mean, what am I going to really do in Paris? Aside from try to dodge the migrants and the bugs and the rats and the vermin. It looks like New York City. People love New York as well. I don't want to go to New York. I'm good on that. If you love New York, then great. I saw a rat the size of a beaver in New York City. It was crazy. It was like, man, what in the world's going on? This rat was like a little cat in the bodega, in the Poppy store. It looked like the bodega cat, but it was really a rat. It's like, what in the world's going on here? I'm cool on that. I don't like filth and nasty smells. I want to be in the cool place. All right. Antonio says, been there, trash. St. Andrew says, it was a dump, 1992. Samantha says, yeah, get drunk, go at night. It'll be beautiful. Exactly. Bruce Science says, like most of Europe is overrun by migrants. Rando says, stanky Eiffel Tower. We should leave NATO also. New York City's overrated. Parisians ruin Paris. Shout out to Prime Matrix for that one. Huge rats from Wallace Williams. Is that New York City, Paris, or both? Monique Price says, Paris was beautiful when I went in 2009. Well, hey, Tamisha, I can't help it. New York City, you might like New York City, but, really at heart, I'm a country boy. West Virginia, West by God, it's in my blood. So I don't like big congested places that got crazy smells. That ain't really my cup of tea. But to each his own. I'm not trying to attack what someone may like. But if I go into a Subway and I'm smelling something that I've never smelled before, I'm ready to go ahead and go back to the house. Give me some good old mountain air, some fresh air. All right. But yeah. As Gonzo says, I'm from New York. Rats come in normal and huge. Or huge. It's true. Exactly. So you got regular size and then you got huge. So yeah, I'm cool on that. LA, I also hate it. I'm a stand on that. I did not like Los Angeles. It was like New York as well. I don't like these big congested places with different cultures and languages. It's like, okay, you can have different cultures, but we got to have something in common. If you over here, you don't speaking no English, and I got to communicate with you. Okay, I'm getting in the Uber. My man ain't speaking no English, just grunting at me. It's like, man, this ain't really going to work. Okay, we're in America. Can we have some kind of commonality? You know how to say, hello, how are you? You can't say nothing in English. If I go to Playa del Carmen, I'll be able to say hola, stuff like that. You can't even say that in English. That's not really going to work too well. And I'm coming to a place where American tourists are known to come, and I'm going to still be able to speak some Spanish. You come to Los Angeles, California, and can't speak one word of English. That's not really the way it should be. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Oh, Snap says LA is nicer than New York City. I can't tell. I can't tell. Maybe you're up in the hills. I cannot tell. I mean, Inglewood, downtown, Watts, Compton, anywhere that's not up in the hills, anywhere. Los Angeles is a dump. Keep it all the way real. If you live there, if you're born and raised there, you're not going to see it. Me as a visitor, I saw ghetto. It looked like Mexico, but worse. If you're in Malibu or somewhere, oh, it's beautiful. Down on the ground floor, ghetto. Ghetto. Anyway, I digress. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got a few more things to get into. We're going to get into the whole Israel kerfuffle and quite a bit more. And let's keep on moving here. We have some videos I want to show you guys. We got a lot actually. There's a whole lot going on. All right, and let me see if I can find it. Oh, I got some good ones here. I have some really good ones. And we're going to get into Joe Biden. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into everything because this is going to be really important. Oh, I got some good pictures for you guys too. Oh, here's a really, okay. I'm just queuing all these videos up. Y'all please pardon me. Now, shout out to Candace Owens. Have you guys seen this? She was destroying quite a few of these wokesters at one of her events. I'm not quite sure where this was. It's a Turning Point USA event, but I don't know really where it was, like what college it was at. And Candace, for context, is 8 months pregnant right now. So in this video, she's 8 months pregnant. Let's check it out. Let's get a little bit of sound here. That might help. And we're going to get to Israel in just a little bit. So y'all please hang tight. I want the stream to be going for a little while, and then I'm going to get into it. I got videos. I got a lot of things to talk about when it comes to Israel.
Guys, no, non-binary person, what do you have to tell me about my identity? Because I know for a fact I'm not confused.
Okay, next question. Great statement. That's a statement. That's a statement. Okay, you know your identity. You're not confused. Congratulations, sweetheart. Thank you very much for your statement.
Candace is all over with. It's like, man, what are you talking about? All right, okay, you're not confused. Great, fantastic.
As a non-binary person, what do you have to tell me about my identity? Because I know for a fact I'm not confused.
Okay, next question. Great statement. That's a statement. That's a statement. Okay, you know your identity. You're not confused. Congratulations, sweetheart.
But the non-binary thing, it's just so weird. You don't want to be like what you are. It's like, man, like, what are we talking about? Just be yourself. Okay, you were born as a boy, born as a girl. Just go ahead and be that. Like, what are we even doing? Now, let's watch the next one here. This was at the same place. I may have played it the last time, but I'm gonna play it one more time.
Trans students on this campus.
All right, let's watch this.
Trans students on this campus who actively feel victimized by your presence here today. Additionally, you just pointed out that this man detransitioned, but earlier in your speech...
Guys, I want to hear her. Go ahead. What do I have to say? Just the question, please. No speech. What is the question?
What do you have to say to the trans students on this campus who feel actively victimized by your presence here?
Life's tough. Get a helmet, man. I'm too pregnant for this. Next question.
Trans students...
I mean, really, though. I think I said it last time about the young lady right here. You're like in your early 20s, but you have this like extended state of adolescence. We got butterfly-looking barrettes in their hair. It's just a mess. It's like you've not matured mentally beyond age 7, but we're an adult. And life is very short. For the youngins out there, you're 18, 19 years old. You think, okay, 39, 40 is a long way away. Is it? How long? Okay, think about how fast your high school career may have been. And time, it goes so fast. Life is short. Time is precious. And it goes very quickly. 10 years ago, just like that. Just like that. For you guys that got kids, remember when your child was born and then how big they got so quick? You know, I don't have any children, but I got nieces, nephews. I got little cousins that's like my nieces and nephews. I got my little cousin is 14 years younger than me. I remember when he was born, I was carrying him around and everything. And then I saw him again. He was playing football. It's like, what's going on? What happened to the little boy I just saw the other day? Life is short. So my whole point is you have to mature. You got to just get things moving. We don't have time to be in this perpetual state of adolescence and in this extended childhood. We don't have time for it. So let's move it. Let's move it along. All right. So yeah, shout out to Candace Owens for keeping it all the way real with these individuals at that particular place. You know, I mean, at a certain point, you got to grow up. When I see non-binary and I'm transgender, what I see is somebody that don't even understand what's going on with themselves. That's what I see. Now, speaking of that particular thing, the whole non-binary situation. Now, this particular story is kind of crazy. Like, some may see this story. I'm going to just show you what's going on. Read the caption and explain, but I think it's happening. All right. So y'all bear with me. Don't attack me. I'm not a bad person. All right. Just hear me out. So you see what's going on here. The caption says, man becomes his late wife. So the first picture is the man with his wife. And then the next picture on the right is a man who is trying to emulate his deceased wife. Now, can I be totally honest? And again, I'm not a bad person. Don't judge me. But can I be honest for a minute? I think that he was transitioning before her transition. And look, and don't judge me. But is it just me or do you not see it? Huh? I think maybe this is already in him. He was like, you know what? I'm waiting for my time to shine. I'm waiting to just look. I already see the eyebrows have been touched, you know, kind of like I'm seeing, you know, you got a little bit of rouge and stuff on. I'm seeing it kind of go that direction. So her passing might have been the tipping point. Like, okay, I'm going to just do it. And then now, boom, here we go. If you thought this was not a mental illness, then what do we have here? What else is this other than a mental illness? Was it her hair? Hey, man, look, we've seen crazier things, haven't we? We've seen crazier things. It could have been like she could have been wearing a wig, because it could be anything. She might have had some kind of disorder, might have had cancer or something like that. So she might have been going through treatment right here. That I think that's probably her hair right there. But he might have got her a wig to look like her hair, and then he put it on after she passed. Yeah, he probably was, exactly, music. He probably was already a cross-dresser, and then he just went ahead and did this. All right, that's what's going on, in my humble opinion. So when somebody says, you know what, I'm non-binary and this is just me, well, you know what, you might want to actually see about yourself and work through your mental problems. But the issue is, exactly, E. Griffin, it's mental illness. And you as a therapist, you're honest. But the problem is there are too many dishonest people in the profession. And they're going to say that it's okay and it's not really mental disorder. It's not a mental illness. But obviously it is. Obviously. Okay. Now, speaking of mental disorder, this individual right here is in the Biden administration. Now, I think this guy works for Deb Haaland, and I'm saying her name wrong. But do you see this guy right here? This guy works for Deb Haaland. Now, I can't remember his name. Jeffrey Dahmer comes to mind. But this guy works in the comms department for Deb Haaland. So this guy's in the federal government. It reminds me of, what's your main man? Sam Brinton. It reminds me of that. And when we have K through 12 education, college education being overtaken by people who are just like this, we have a male with hoop earrings and a woman's blazer on. Okay, when we got stuff like this happening, you're going to get these kind of people that are like, these kind of guys are going to be the norm. They'll be produced by these institutions, K through 12. Man, it's even hitting private Catholic schools. I showed you guys the drag queen, was it a sermon or a drag queen service at church? I showed that. I'm going to show it one more time for you guys who didn't see it. But when we have stuff like that going on, you're going to get guys like this in the federal government. That's what's going to happen. Somebody said Frank Zappa, Anthony Weiner, Freddie Mercury. Yeah, Freddie Mercury. Yeah. And this is his professional photo shoot. You see the flag behind him. This is a federal government photo shoot right here. All right. At least your main man, what's his name? At least Fetterman had the decency to put on a suit for his photo rather than that Carhartt work shirt, rather than that oil changing, grass cutting shirt, rather than that landscaping behind, rather than that retention wall building shirt that he normally wears to Congress. He put on the suit for his photo, but this cat right here has on the woman's blazer with this 1975 chintzy looking jewelry he has on. It's crazy. You know what I saw when I was in Virginia recently? I'm watching the news, and they had this lady, a young girl. Girl couldn't have been no more than 27, 28, 30, like late 20s, early 30s. She had on big gold hoop earrings, like not even knee-size hoop earrings. These are pretty small in comparison. They were really big earrings, and she had on a necklace with her name on it on the news. I'm like, what am I looking at? If I'm watching the news, it should be professional. When I'm watching you, I should think, okay, suit, tie for the man, dress, and or some kind of, pants, Hillary Clinton looking pantsuit for the woman. I shouldn't be seeing big jewelry, name-plated jewelry on the newscaster. It's unprofessional, and you look like you're not telling me the truth. All right. If I'm watching news, I want to be confident that I'm getting the proper information. I don't want it to give off skit, because if I think it's a skit, then I'm not going to watch, because you guys are not very credible. But anyway, I digress. Let's keep on moving here. Now, speaking about television and being professional, this guy right here looks very professional, well put together. But the words that he's saying do not make any sense. Now, I was spoken about Chicago and the illegal immigration, and we're going to get to that in a minute, actually. I'll probably play that next because there's an issue with Chicago. So many migrants are coming, and they're trying to find places for them to stay in the interim until they can find somewhere else to go. And they're putting them in schools. They're putting them in a little bit of everywhere. And one of the more recent places they're going to put them is a Chicago youth football team's fieldhouse. They're going to put them in there. So the team that uses the fieldhouse will now be evicted. We're talking about little kids or young people, really, who cannot use that fieldhouse anymore. Now, the thing about Chicago and a lot of these urban inner cities is that there's always clamoring for things for kids to get into so they can get off the streets. There's always a thing. Okay, give them some kind of midnight basketball, give them some football, let them do something that keeps them occupied so they're not going to be on the street. But then what do? You bring in the illegal aliens, asylum seekers, migrants, whatever you want to call them, and take one of those options away. This comes from the very same group that says give them things to do to occupy themselves or whatever. And you're taking that away because of the illegal aliens. Let me see if I can find that clip right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, I have the video, but let's play this little clip from your main man, Brandon Johnson. Now, we know the previous mayor was Lori Lightfoot. She was ousted, or she just lost her election, whatever the case may be. And unfortunately, the person who was chosen to replace her is the same or worse than Lori Lightfoot. So let's watch this, hear what he says, then we're going to get into a little bit more. Check it out.
Just to clarify, when is a team?
Soon as possible. Look, I'm still running a major city. I have children who attend schools who have soccer games, y'all. You know, you all are asking me as if I'm not a parent in this city. I get it. I'm mayor. I get it. But you're asking me to give you a date, and I have to court. Do you understand that you have not had a mayor like me? I get that. I have a wife. I have children. They have schedules. And plus, we still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address. And I'm doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago. I am going to the border as soon as possible. But I got to coordinate that with running the government and making sure that my wife and children are secure as well. Thank you, Lawrence.
So I guess the question was, when are you going to the border? Because obviously the border is a source of the problem of the migration issue, of the migrant crisis, if you will. That's the source of the problem. And I'm talking about all these things. Oh, it's Governor Abbott. He's sending us all these people. Well, look, maybe you wouldn't be having the issue with the migrants if the border was secure. That's the problem. So go to the border and check it out. See what's going on. And work with Abbott, work with other people, the federal government even, work with them to get the border secure. Okay, you're the mayor of Chicago, very big city in America, one of the top 3, LA, Chicago, New York. You have some kind of power, I suppose. But what do? Oh, I got a black wife. What's that got to do with anything? What does that got to do with anything? Black wife and black kids. Okay, what are we saying? They can't come with you. They can't go to your grandma's house or somewhere else while you're gone. They can't. Your wife can't take care of the kids while you're gone. I mean, where's your wife at right now? Is that her right here? Like, where's your wife at right now? Where your kids at right now? So you can't make a little trip to the border? I mean, this is ridiculous. But, hey, as I said, you can look very professional, come to this suit with a nice little tie, jacket, all that good stuff. You got a little mohawk action right here, so that's a little bit unprofessional, but it's okay. You are dressed appropriately, but you're spewing nonsense out of your mouth. So that's not really a good thing. But that's your main man, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. Now, let's look at what's happening right here. This is kind of a protest meeting or whatever, where you have Chicago youth football members, kids, who were kicked out of their field house to make room for illegal aliens, asylum seekers, migrants, whatever they are called nowadays. Let's check it out. Now, look, okay, so they're bringing the kids in, and people are angry about them being kicked out of the field house. But as I said, I'm gonna play this in the background without the sound on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave the sound on so you can hear them kind of being upset. So we got solidarity fists going up. People are kind of upset in the crowd. But it's like, what are we doing exactly? You see the lady right there with the ponytail and all that? She's upset. My man with the slick back, straight back, Kawhi Leonard cornrows. The penitentiary, I just got home cornrows. He's upset. But look, I understand that they're upset that the kids were kicked out of the field house to make room for the illegal aliens. But here's the problem. You keep voting for the same people that are allowing this to happen. So it doesn't matter. We can get upset. We can get rowdy. We can get angry. We can bring the kids out in their football uniform, their helmets and everything else. We can do that. You see the kids right there in the front. We can do that, and that's great. That's fantastic. But you're not going to solve anything by doing this, because the same people are going to be in power. The same ones who ran on Chicago being a sanctuary city, Illinois being a sanctuary state, and the president who ran on open borders, these guys are still in power. You voted for Joe Biden, 80-90%. Debbie Pritzker, same thing. Brandon Johnson, and before him, Lori Lightfoot. And it goes on and on and on and on. Blagojevich, all these people you vote for, you put in power. What are you going to get as a result? What are you going to get as a result? Now, was Blagojevich, was he Chicago, or was that Detroit? Doesn't really matter. You understand what I'm saying? Let me see. He was a governor, yeah. And a Democrat, yep. So you keep on doing the same old thing over and over and over, you're going to get the same results. And it's only going to get worse because the migrants ain't slowing down. They're not slowing down. The border's wide open. I'm talking about wide open. They're trying to build some border in Starr County, but 20 miles of border. That's a drop in the bucket. A whole drop in the bucket. And speaking of drop in the bucket, your main man, Joe Biden, is talking about canceling student loans. Now, I think I'm going to do a video on this because there's a video I saw of people talking about how much money they had canceled. Matter of fact, this is a good time to bring it up. This is a great time to bring it up. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but this is a great time to bring it up because Biden is having the border wide open, which was a campaign promise, really. But another campaign promise was we're going to cancel student loan debt. He didn't do that. And of course, we knew that. All of us here knew he wasn't going to do that because you're talking about, look, the student loan debt bubble is $1.63 trillion. That kind of money is hard to really understand. It's very hard to understand. Let me say it this way. 1.63 trillion is 1,630,000,000,000. 1,630,000,000,000. You know how much $1 billion is? You know how much 1 million is? If you make 200 grand, you're in the top 1% of all people in the country. As a single person, 200 grand, you're the top 1%. $1 million, you're rich. $1 billion, you're getting into Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Like, you're talking about Amazon.com. You're talking about Apple. You're talking about things that are needed in society, essential societal businesses. institutions at the billion level. $1 trillion is unfathomable. The student loan debt bubble is 1.63 trillion. They were never going to cancel that. And you know why? Part of the reason why is because that's state debt. That kind of debt cannot be canceled even through bankruptcy. You might be able to cancel your credit card debt, maybe. That's also a very big bubble. Student loan debt, it's like trying to cancel child support. That's like canceling. Do you think, like, let's say there's a child support debt bubble. Do you think they would ever cancel child support debt? If you think so, you and your main man, Hunter Biden, are smoking the same kind of crack. Y'all smoke crack together. If you ever think they're going to cancel child support, they were never going to do that. And it's not because, oh, well, we got to take care of the kids. No, it's because child support is a state debt. But I don't want to go down that road, so I digress. I'm going to say this, and then I move on to the whole thing about student loans. Do you know that you cannot get sent to the penitentiary for owing money? Essentially, they say you can't. They say debtors' prisons are illegal only if you don't owe state debt, taxes, and child support. You can go to jail for student loan debt. You won't get locked up for it, but they can garnish your wages. They cannot garnish your wages for credit card debt, or if you got a auto loan or something, or a mortgage, they can't garnish wages for that. They can garnish your wages for student loan debt, child support as well, and taxes to a certain extent. I was hearing about stories of people going to their bank accounts, looking at their account, their balances, and then they see the state took money out. Oh, you owe some money for this, that, and the third. Boom. Take it right from you. That's part of the reason why they will never, ever, ever really cancel student loan debt. There's debt relief programs. I think that's what Biden announced. Oh, but we're going to cancel $9 billion of the student loan debt out of 1.63 trillion, which is a drop in the bucket. They will never, ever cancel it. Let's see what this video is about. Some people have accrued student loan debt, and they're giving their testimony about what it's like living with it. Let's check it out.
These student loans have been a noose around my neck for 20 years. I, at this very moment, owe $99,000. It finally dropped under $100,000. And I have paid back on the federal loans over $186,000.
I mean, look, some of these debts are ridiculous. I knew before I went to school that student loan debt was a thing I didn't really want. Let me tell you what I did. So I went to a community college for the first, 2 years. Got my degree, no debt. I had Pell Grants, and I also paid out of pocket. This is back in 2002 to like 04, 05. So I was able to pay at least one semester. It was like $1,000 for a semester at a community college. Now, I know that price right now is unheard. It's probably like 10 grand at the same place I went to, TCC. I wonder how much TCC costs now for 12 credits one semester. Probably $10,000 or more. I paid $1,000 for a semester in 2003, that range, about 20 years ago. And then I went to the 4-year college, ODU, for a year, and I left. And my total debt was $7 grand. And my student loan debt was that. And my payments were like below 70 a month, about 65, 68, something like that. And I paid it off in 10 years. I paid a little bit of money every month. It was nothing. And I got it done. Didn't miss one payment. But $186,000, that's a house. That money right there, that was a house when I was graduating high school. Easy. That was a nice house in 02. But now you might get a trailer home for that. Now that's a F-150 at this point.
So I have paid back nearly twice what I originally borrowed.
When I graduated from medical school, my total education debt was somewhere around $225,000 to $250,000. So 9 of the last 10 years, I've been making payments, but the debt has now ballooned to $355,000.
I mean, the numbers are so unreal and astronomical that I can't even fathom making a payment. My student loans were originally $34,000, and this year they have grown to over $500,000.
Wait a minute. Wait. Your student loan debt was originally $34,000 and it grew to $528,000. Like, were you not paying any money at all ever in your lifetime? What in the world? How did it grow to that? You have not made a payment ever. I'm surprised you've not had wages garnished. You've not had a lien put on your property or something because of that. That's crazy. 34 grand to 528,000. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? How is that even possible? Can you elaborate on that, ma'am?
I mean, what am I going to do? They want five.
Okay, so I'm reading this right here. Your student loan account details for this month's billing cycle. Account statement date. This is 2/28/2003. Current balance $528,152.92. Regular monthly payment amount. Look at this. You're gonna have your heart's gonna just jump a few beats. Look at this. Your regular monthly payment amount $5,698.30. Oh boy. I mean, what? I'm speechless. $6,000 almost for a monthly payment. There's no way she's paying that. That's why the debt is so high, because she's just refusing to pay. I mean, once you get to that level, you can't pay. I mean, $5 grand, $6 grand for a student loan per month. My total debt that I ever had in college was about that. A little bit more, about $7 grand. My total debt that I ever had was $7,000. That's her monthly payment amount. And I'm sure that's not attacking principal only. That's going to be mostly interest. It can't be principal only, because the principal is $34,000 and now it's $528,000. So you're paying like 90%, 95%, 99% interest on that. That's crazy.
5,600 and something a month. I can't make that. That's basically that's what I make.
You know, if I had that ability to talk to my younger self, I would have never, ever gone for that law degree. I grew up in foster care. My mother died when I was 13 years old.
That picture right there says 1985. Oh my goodness. Shout out to her.
Old. I received a lot of scholarships, but a great big part of all of that was me financing that education. And now I have children and a mortgage payment, and I am very determined that my kids are not going to get stuck in the same cycle that I've been in my whole adult life.
I was a single parent when I started college. I got scholarships and grants. I did work, but it didn't quite cover everything. There were times when I had to choose between getting money to pay for my daughter's ear infection or buy us food.
It is kind of a paradox of what people imagine doctors take in as income and how we actually live.
My man, can I just point out the obvious? How are you a doctor looking like this? Okay, you are a doctor of infectious disease and internal medicine, international medicine, pardon me. My man, if you're a doctor, you can at least do some doctor activity on yourself. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but come on, man. Like, you understand how the body works. You shouldn't be looking like that. You're looking like you're about 100 pounds overweight as a doctor. If you're a normie, I understand, but you're a person trained in medicine and how the body works. This is not really something I want to see from a doctor personally. Okay, you don't got to be beautiful looking like, some kind of swimsuit model, but my man, come on.
I still drive a 10-year-old car that I bought in residency. I haven't even thought about getting a house and adding a mortgage payment and property tax and maintenance to my list of debt.
There's no way I'll ever be able to make payments in my life, the kind of payments they want. So really, my only hope is that I have to die before all my student loans are due because there's no way I can pay them and survive.
That's the plan, obviously, because again, her original balance was like 32 grand and it has now gotten to 528,000. The plan was to never pay. You probably got all kind of deferments and everything else in the background to the point where that's your strategy, is to just put it off, and refuse to pay. And your poor daughter gonna be left with the debt. Now, I don't know, what's she gonna do? You're gonna leave it to her? Because that's what happens, don't it? Like, if you have debt, it goes to your family members, and they got to figure it out. But hey, whatever floats your boat. I mean, really, you can't pay. You have no other choice at this point, because if the payments per month are $5,600, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. So yeah, student loan debt, it can be very difficult to deal with. But to anyone that is young, might go to college, maybe you're in college, be aware of what you're paying for, because it's not free money. Okay, you get your check and you are taking the refund money and buying clothes and jewelry and iPhone 15, 18, 35 with it. But you got to understand that money is not free. That's your money you're spending. You are leveraging your future. And if you leave college with a useless degree and $200,000 in debt, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing? So don't do that. Your objective should be to have the lowest amount of money possible in student loan debt. You want to go to an in-state school, if you can, community college, or don't go to college. Go to a trade school. Figure out a way to spend the least amount of money possible. Do not go to college and just hang out, chill on your own dime. You having a good time at the party. You're thinking, oh, okay, I got into the party. It was free. I'm at a frat party. I'm drinking. I'm 18 years old. You living the life. Is a frat party free if you're paying tuition, 40 grand a semester? Is it free? Are you on scholarship? Are your parents paying for it? Are you paying for it? Ask yourself those questions before you go. When I was about 16, 17, that was my thought process. Like, I don't want to be in student loan debt. I'm not trying to spend a bunch of money, leveraging my future. I'm trying to have very, very low debt that I can't just offload. Like, I have debt in my house. Of course, I got a mortgage. I can just sell my house and make money, so I'm good. I may have a car, but I'm getting the car at a reasonable price, used cars that will not depreciate right when I get them. So if I need to sell it, I can sell it and then be out of it rather than taking the loss on it. You see what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's how I look at it. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. So yeah, Joe Biden, and the reason why I brought that video up is because Joe Biden is announcing he's going to cancel $9 billion of student loan debt, but the student loan debt bubble is $1.63 trillion. So that $9 billion, like, let's just say, for math's sake, that the student loan debt bubble is $1,639 billion. If you take the 9 away from that, you're still at 1.63. You didn't move at all. If the student loan debt bubble is 1.639 and he canceled the 9, you're still at 1.63. Yeah, so what are we talking about? And you're correct, Tamisha. My credit score is A1. My credit score is right at 8. Absolutely. Yeah, I go hard with the finances. Like, I don't play around. Like, I do a lot. I don't really play with the money thing. So regardless of what, because I've been doing business for myself for about 16 years, since 2007, been self-employed. I've been up, been down, been rich, been broke. From a young age, when I was like 22, 23, had a lot of money, living hood rich, living that lifestyle. Then I had no money. Then I came back up before YouTube. I had cycles of ups and downs. So I understand how to really use money and how to live my life a certain way to where if I have to go broke again or downsize, it's no problem. I'm good. If I just did not make one more dollar today, I'll be totally fine. I'll be good for like 2 or 3 years based upon the moves I've made over the years, not just since YouTube, but over a very long period of time. But I digress. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying that's what anybody should do. Anybody. Do not make bad financial choices like going to college and racking up a big debt, and then you can't pay it, and you're looking toward the federales to pay it all for you. They're not going to come save you at all. They are not going to do it. But let's keep on rocking and rolling here. We got a few more things happening. We're going to get into Israel in a minute. We're going to get into a few things. I want to get into Big Pharma. Oh, boy, we got to get into it. Yes, LB, hood rich. You already know it. But Big Pharma, we got to get into it because we got to speak on Ozempic. Now, I didn't really cover the topic, but I spoke on Ozempic one time on live before because I was showing you guys an article, and on the article, there was a big Ozempic banner ad. And I was trying to say back then, don't do it. This is a dangerous drug. It ruins your stomach, all this, that, and the third. Now, a study came out saying exactly what I said. It can cause serious stomach problems. Ozempic, Wegovy, these drugs that are, they were created for diabetics, but then they realized that it can also aid in weight loss. Now, what Ozempic does ultimately is that it is appetite suppressant, so you don't want to eat as much. Now, the way it works, from what I read from one of you guys in the comments, shout out to you, is that it makes your food digest very slowly. And I double checked that. That's what they said. Your food digests very slowly, so you're not going to want to eat because you still got food in your stomach because it's not digested. Now, the problem is that this food can, I guess, for lack of better terms, it can calcify or it can get very hard. So when you got this food hardening in your stomach and it's time to go do number 2, you're going to have a problem. Not all people who have Ozempic issues are going to experience that, but that's kind of what the problem is. That's a side effect. You want to go to the bathroom, you on the toilet, you ready. Your mind is saying, yo, it's time. Let's go ahead and let it rip. You hop on the toilet, ain't nothing going on. Now you in tears crying because you can't actually use the restroom. Your stomach is torn up. They said that the side effect of Ozempic potentially is pancreatitis and stomach paralysis because you're not digesting your food normally. There are no miracle drugs. Some say they've been able to lose weight on Ozempic, but what they're doing is just not eating as much food. You can eat less food without taking drugs. Okay, you don't have to eat all the food you see. We have a very unhealthy food dynamic in this country, relationship with food. We look at food as something fun to do rather than something that is useful for our body. And we eat way too much. We eat the wrong things. I know I'm lecturing, but I have to do this because a little bit of personal story about me. My biggest weight, I've lost 100 pounds before. My biggest weight when I was younger, probably like in my early 20s, I was like up to about 280 pounds. So I was wearing like a 42-inch waist. I got to a 44-inch waist pants. Now, I'm not trying to be sagging. I'm not trying to be some kind of, hoodlum showing my hind parts. No, I needed a 44-inch waist. It was 42 for a while, and then that became too small. I'm in Burlington Coat Factory in the fat guy section in the back. Okay, I could say that because I was this size. I'm in the fat guy aisle in the back of the Burlington Coat Factory trying to find some jeans that's a size 44 by 34 because I'm tall. I'm 6'3". I'm like, you know what? This is way too much. So at my highest weight at 280, I decided, okay, I got to change my diet. That's when I read this book, Elijah Muhammad, yes, How to Eat to Read. And it said 1 meal a day and eating navy beans. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So then I started doing 1 meal a day. I started doing beans, rice, no junk food. Man, look, I was eating honey buns, oatmeal cream pies. I'm going to the middle of the mall to the little Sakura Japan place. You ever see in the food court, you walk by the mall and they give you a little sample. Hey, want sample? Hey, want sample? I'm taking the sample. Yeah, I'm eating it. This is delicious. So I'll go there for lunch, get one of those plates of the pink slop they dress up with teriyaki sauce and put it on a bed of rice. I'm smashing that down for lunch. Going home, eating the oatmeal cream pie. Okay, drinking some sweet tea with all kind of sugar in it. Yeah, I was living that life. And then I changed my life. I went from 280 to 180. 280 to 180. Now, I'm about 215 right now. I like being right around 210 to 2. If I get to 225, I'm doing a little bit too much. I was at 225 recently within the past month. Then I was like, okay, I got to fall back. So you know what I did to lose weight? I exercised already. That wasn't the issue. I just consumed fewer calories. Okay, 1 meal a day, raw sushi. I'm eating spring rolls, not fried, just really clean, light foods. And I dropped from 225 about 217. I'll probably hit 210, then I'll stop. I know how to lose weight and keep it off. I've been fat. I've been skinny. Now I'm like right at a good weight. So I don't want to hear, oh, ABL, I got this problem. I got that problem. I've been fat. If you fat, you can reduce your weight just like I did. If I can do it, so can you. And I grew up kind of like a chubby kid too. And then when I got to be in my early 20s, I was like, you know more, I'm going to just be nice and lean. I'm not starved at all. People that don't understand what I'm talking about may say that, but once you experience it, you understand how to do it. Don't starve yourself. I eat. I definitely eat, but I'm not going to eat so much. People eat way too much thinking they have to. And then some say, and I'm preaching right now, so just pardon me. Some say, you know what? It's poverty, ABL. That's the reason why people are obese is because they're impoverished. No. You may have a poverty mindset that could lead to obesity, and I'll explain. Have you ever heard the phrase, eat all that food on that plate, boy? Because if you don't, then you're being wasteful. Don't waste no food in this house. It's kids starving in Africa. Let me tell you something. It's okay to not eat all the food on your plate. It's okay to throw food away. Yes, it is. You don't have to eat all the food. If you're satiated and you're satisfied, you've had enough, stop eating. You're at a restaurant, they give you this big monstrous portion of food, okay? And you're done at a certain point. You're finished. But your mind goes back to your childhood trauma where you're being told to eat, clean that plate, eat all the food, and you eat all the food. And you do that every single time. And you're doing that 2 or 3 times a day, which is too much. And you're wondering why you're 300 pounds. That's why. Cut your portions by 1/3. You could do it. 1/3. Not even, I'm not saying half. I'm not saying 2 1/3. Cut it by 1/3. So keep 2/3 of your regular portions. You'll see you will lose weight. Cut out your sugary drinks, your Mountain Dews, all that kind of garbage. Just drink water. It's okay to drink water. Just drink water. You'll be fine. Drink regular water, no sugar added, and you'll see a difference. It's simple. Let me tell you what's going on. People go to Walmart, and we're going to get into that in a minute because Walmart is tracking your food purchases and if you're on drugs or not, because they got a study talking about if you're on Ozempic, then you're going to eat less food. How do you know if a person's on Ozempic or not? They know you're on Ozempic and they know how much you're eating because they're tracking what you do through the Walmart apps, through the loyalty programs. You have the app, you can go in there and buy stuff and get coupons. They're tracking what you're buying and how often. Not just your food, but also you go to the pharmacy, you get Ozempic. Okay, we're going to put that in there as well. And we're going to look at the data and analyze you from the data. We're worried about TikTok. What about Amazon, Walmart? I digress. The point is this. You need to just reduce your portions. You'll lose weight. It's very simple. There's no other way because I guarantee you this. If you didn't eat for a week, I don't care what kind of symptoms, what kind of disorder you got. Oh, I got thyroid. If you did not eat food for a week, you would lose weight. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just proving my point. Calories in, calories out. how many calories do you consume versus what you're actually using? If you're sedentary, sitting on the couch, chilling, eating 3 meals a day, going to Chick-fil-A, going to Wally World, honey buns, hot dogs, garbage, you're not eating properly. That's it. All right. I'm gonna tell you what I do right now. Right now, I'm at 1 meal a day. Today I had 1 meal, no in-between snacks. I did not eat any food until 4 o'clock. And what I had, and you know what? You don't have to eat like a so-called rabbit. I went to Carrabba's and got takeout. I had like some spaghetti with it was I counted. It might have been 4 shrimp in there. I wanted some more shrimp. I was a little bit perturbed. Like, come on, you gonna give me 4 shrimp in the whole thing? They gave me 4 shrimp in my spaghetti and some tomatoes on top with some bread on the side and a Caesar salad. And I had a cookie beyond that. So the whole meal might have been 1,200 calories max. That's it. That's all I need, and I'm good. Now, some of y'all, not you guys, but some people will eat that for 1 meal. Then they'll have morning breakfast Chick-fil-A, get a chicken biscuit and a coffee. Oh, and that coffee, oh my gosh. Look, that coffee y'all drink, my Lord. Look, I showed you guys the one clip of the guy that was showing the coffee and how it had the equivalent amount of sugar as 14 glazed donuts in one drink. Some kind of pumpkin spice, latte, frappe, venti, I don't know what it was. The sugar it had in there was the equivalent to 14 glazed donuts. I mean, and y'all, some of y'all might drink that every day. And you're wondering why you can't keep the weight off, because you got too much sugar, too much fat, too many calories. And then here comes Ozempic, and they say it's a miracle drug. Well, what it's doing is making you stop eating. It's physically making you not want to eat. You can achieve that same result by not eating, by being disciplined. Now, let's play that right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. You're right about that, NKM. It should be illegal to have that much sugar in a drink. But see, the problem is that many Americans have become addicted to these drinks, to the sugar. They're hooked on the sugar. It's like the drugs, like the fentanyl, all that kind of stuff. We're hooked on that as well.
Drugs used for weight.
All right, before I get to that one, let's play. Let me see if I can play the one I wanted here. Y'all give me 1 second as I get it rocking and rolling. And again, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Somebody says, blah, blah. Oh, you ain't trying to hear it, huh? I know you ain't trying to hear it. It's okay. Because when I was fat, I wasn't trying to hear it neither. But now I'm going to tell you. And if you are willing to hear it, then you're going to hear it. If not, then that's fine. All right, let's check it out. Here we go.
It turns out popular drugs used to suppress appetite like Ozempic and Wegovy may have an economic side effect. People who take them appear to be buying less food at Walmart, where today Elodie Nicholas got her prescriptions and her groceries.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it. I'm buying less.
She started taking Ozempic after having 2 heart attacks, and she's lost 36 pounds.
Now, wait a minute. Like I was saying in my video today, this news clip comes off like a commercial for Ozempic. They play the song in the beginning. They have the name Ozempic right here and Wegovy right there at the bottom. And they say that these drugs can decrease food sales. And they showed this woman with her weight loss, and they showed a before and after picture. If this was not a news story specifically, I would think that it was a commercial, a testimonial. Yeah, I don't want to buy any more food. I have no more appetite, and I look great now. I'm like, what's going on here? Am I seeing a news clip or a commercial?
Since May.
Has it changed what you eat?
100%. The sweet stuff, it just literally turns my stomach. My shopping cart used to be overflowed because I'd have all the junk and the sodas and all that. Now it's It's less than half of what it used to be.
Walmart has one of the most sophisticated systems for collecting data on its shoppers. And U.S. CEO John Furner told Bloomberg they've seen smaller checkouts from people taking these medications. We do see a slight pullback in overall basket. Less units, slightly less calories.
So are you hearing this? Look, are you hearing what they're saying? The language they're using. They say Walmart has very sophisticated ways to track user data, to track your data. And they say that if you take Ozempic, they know that because you go to the Walmart pharmacy and you purchase that. And if you buy food from there, you also, you're in their ecosystem. So they look at the data and they say, okay, they're on Ozempic, and then they go to the grocery part and they buy fewer items. They're buying fewer calories. Okay. A slight pullback in overall basket and less units, slightly less calories. These are very specific corporate terms. Pullback in basket, less calories. Look, the way that a Walmart will stock their stores is very sophisticated. You think that it's not really, some big box store, looks kind of ghetto. This is a highly efficient operation. Very efficient. Very, very, very efficient. These are not people that are just, random. When you're talking about a CEO, they're not getting hired just because. They're not getting paid $100 million for no reason, okay? They know very key things about you as a customer. They probably know how much you weigh on average. They probably know your gait, how you walk because of the app on the phone. You may have certain things on the phone that will be able to tell them what kind of person you are. They can glean a lot from your data that you give to them voluntarily.
Less units, slightly less calories.
Does it surprise you that Walmart's looking at this sort of data?
I think every large retailer is looking at this sort of data. They have the data through their loyalty programs.
Leo Feller is chief economist at Numerator, a company that analyzes shopping receipts from millions of people.
And then we use that data to help inform retailers, to help inform food manufacturers.
Healthcare providers wrote more than 9 million prescriptions for drugs used for weight loss in the last 3 months of 2022. And Morgan Stanley estimates 7% of the U.S. population will be taking these medications by 2035.
Listen, do not take those medications. I mean, if you got diabetes or whatever, I understand. I would not suggest it for that either. For type 2 especially, that's probably what it's used for. Type 1, whole different story, obviously. That's a different thing. But if you're just trying to lose weight, don't do this, please. Please, I beg you, don't do this. Your doctor may recommend it, prescribe it. If your doctor does do that, your doctor is a quack. Please get a second opinion.
These medications by 2035.
Over the course of the next 10 years, this will likely change the way that consumers shop and what consumers are buying.
For Elodie Nicholas and her husband, that's already happened.
I buy the groceries, so it's also helping him to eat healthy.
Now, some are going to say that this drug is very expensive, $200 at Walmart. Do you see her right here? No teeth in the mouth, but is buying Ozempic. People will buy this stuff. I mean, it doesn't really matter how much it costs. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It's affordable to some people, obviously. Because, I mean, I don't think this lady right here is going to be what you would call rich, but somehow she's able to buy Ozempic.
Groceries, so it's also helping him to eat healthy.
Now, as more people start taking these medications, an analysis from Jefferies Financial Group says snack makers like Kellogg, Hershey's, and Hostess could be impacted, but even airlines might benefit from this with lower fuel costs as passengers lose weight.
That's totally crazy. Totally crazy. Now, let's get to the other one. See, that was CBS News, basically giving you a commercial for Ozempic. Hey, take this drug. They're not telling you any side effects on the first clip, if you notice. In the first clip, it was only about the effects of the weight loss and also the effects on a place like Walmart, maybe even the airline industry. They did not tell you about any side effects in that commercial, or excuse me, news clip, whatever you want to call it. Same thing nowadays, right? Commercial, news clip, whatever. Now, on the same network, they did a separate segment on the potential side effects. Let's check it out.
Drugs used for weight loss like Ozempic and Wegovy have soared in popularity. Last year alone, they were prescribed 40 million times in the U.S. Now, a new study is warning that the drugs can lead to an increased risk of stomach problems, including rare gastrointestinal conditions that could be life-threatening. Elaine Quijano has more.
I'm down to 172 pounds like it was magic.
Prescription drugs used to suppress appetite have exploded in popularity this past year, with social media influencers and celebrities sharing the success they've had using the drug semaglutide, marketed as Wegovy and Ozempic, known technically as GLP-1 agonists.
Type 2 diabetes? Discover the Ozempic Trizone.
Developed to treat diabetes, Ozempic's off-label use for weight loss is driving its demand. But now a new study from the Journal of the American Medical Association found that for every 1,000 patients who used the drug, some suffered moderate to severe stomach problems, including pancreatitis and stomach paralysis.
Each one of these complications could be serious enough that it could be life-threatening.
NYU Langone chief gastroenterologist Dr. Mark Pochapin says patients outside of the drug's target audience are at a higher risk for exhibiting rare side effects.
The American psyche is give me a pill or a medicine to fix a problem.
That's correct. That's psyche right there. Pill, medicine, fix the problem. But like I said, I don't do any kind of things like that. I don't take Advil, Tylenol. I don't have any medication in my house. All I do have in my house is like vitamins. Okay, I got L-arginine, zinc, potassium, things like that. I don't have any medications at all.
To fix a problem.
The drug's manufacturer, Novo Nordisk, responded to the findings, saying it stands behind the safety and efficacy of all our GLP-1RA medicines when used consistent with the product labeling and approved indications. The study comes as drug companies work toward manufacturing a generic version of the drug, which, if successful, would give more people access.
So there you have it. That's what's going on. Stomach paralysis. Pancreatitis, something that is very, very difficult to deal with. Like I said, you're going to be on the toilet. Your body's going to be like, yo, man, it's time to go number 2. Meanwhile, you can't do it. And it's going to be agonizing. You're going to call the hospital. You're going to call the ambulance, as they call it. You're going to call the ambulance to come get you. And you're going to be crying tears because you can't do a thing that you normally would be able to do. All right. So, yeah, please, oh, please, oh, please. If you can avoid drugs, do it, please, because there's no miracle drug. You think that it's going to just be, OK, I take this drug and then I become, skinny mini. It ain't going to be like that. Not without any kind of potential very negative side effect. You know what the best thing to do is? Eat better, have better discipline. There's no side effect from eating healthier. Okay, there's no side effect from eating healthier. No negative side effect. I guess side effect would be losing weight, feeling better, looking better, living longer. And when I say eating healthy, people don't understand what that means. They think I'm talking about eating a salad. I'm talking about having a healthy diet. I eat everything. I eat whatever, but I don't eat all the time, all day. And I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. I'm going to do a video on that one day on nutrition. But if you like what you hear so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, let's get into Israel, shall we? Let's get into Israel. This story is going to be really big because I'm hearing from people. I'm reading news. They're talking about we might get involved. Meaning American troops might go over there. I hope not. I hope not. And before I start, I just want to say that all those who have passed away, all those who were injured, I hope that they get well soon, and prayers out to those who have died and their families. However, this should not be a thing we get into. This is what I'm talking about. We shouldn't be the world police. Ukraine, Israel, all over the place. It doesn't really matter how you feel about these places. I don't think we should be involved as Americans, especially in Israel. Can we get to the map right quick? Now, modern day Israel that we know of today, the borders were started and or created in 1948 after the first Arab-Israeli war. Okay, here's what happened. And any historians in the comments, let me know. And I got to get to the history so you understand why things are the way they are today. First of all, before 1948, before the Arab-Israeli war, there's always been conflict in this part of the world, the Middle East. Okay, what you have in Israel, you have to the south and west, Egypt. To the east, you have Jordan. To the north, Lebanon. To the northeast, Syria. You're right here in the mix. All that is right there. Saudi Arabia, not far away. It's all right here. You've always had wars and whatnot going on. Okay, different empires being there. The Ottoman Empire. You had all kind of stuff happening right here. I think it might have been part of the Holy Roman Empire at one point. It's always been stuff happening right here. Not HRE, but the Roman Empire, if I'm not mistaken. You guys, let me know if I'm wrong, but I know Ottoman Empire for sure was right there, because when the Ottoman Empire fell, that's when the British came in and they mandated British Palestine until 1948. In 1948, British Palestine expired. Now, British Palestine was this land right here, including West Bank and Gaza. That was all British Palestine. This was an Arab place from the British mandate, but you also had Jews there as well. Now, when the mandate expired, Israel declared independence, and then it became a Jewish state. But see, the problem is that it was already mandated to be Palestine before that. Although the mandate ended, now we got a problem, because you got Jordanians there, you got Egyptians there, you got other Arabs that are right there in that place with the Jews. Now it's a Jewish state, so what did we do? Now we got a war, the Arab-Israeli War, 1948. Now, after the Arab-Israeli War, the land that was under the British mandate expanded. They took the Sinai Peninsula right here. They took that. I think they might have took more. They might have took Golan up here, more Syria, etc. They took more than what was there before or during the British mandate. Now, after another war in the 60s between the Arabs and the Israelis, the borders we have right here came into place. All of this right here, including West Bank, Gaza, and maybe Golan Heights up here in Syria, is under Israeli control. Now, the Palestinians live in Gaza and West Bank. And to be clear, before the partition of Gaza and West Bank, you had Jordanians in West Bank and Egyptians in Gaza. And it still might be that way today. Although you've had other Arabs come into those places over the years. Now, Gaza and West Bank are under Israeli control. There's a border wall around the West Bank that partitions it away from the rest of Israel. Now, the border wall is kind of porous. You can kind of get through it. You can hop over it, get a ladder, but there is a wall right there. There's also a wall between Israel and the Sinai Peninsula, which is Egypt, because you got a lot of Africans and whatnot coming that way to get into Israel. So there's a wall right there on the south and west of Israel, in between them and Egypt, and then also a wall around the West Bank. Gaza, I'm not really sure, but you can't just go from Gaza into Israel or from West Bank into Israel and vice versa just casually. You can if you sneak across or sneak through a wall, sneak through a hole, but it's kind of like crossing the border in between us and Mexico. But the only thing is that it's more secure than our wall, right? It's more secure. Now, Israel is notorious for their intelligence operation, Mossad. Mossad is very famous all over the world for being a very capable intelligence operation. Now, I don't know how, through all the control they have over Gaza and West Bank and Mossad and the walls and the security and the checkpoints and the barriers. I don't know how through all that they were not able to see this attack coming. First of all, they said between 2,500, I heard at first it was 2,400 rockets. Now I'm hearing 5,000 rockets. I'm not really sure. But they said that up to 5,000 rockets came from Gaza right here, which is controlled by Hamas, the government. 5,000 rockets came from Gaza into Israel. That's what they said. Now they have the Iron Dome system. This is a missile defense system. And what happens is when they detect rockets coming in, the Iron Dome launches a missile to try and intercept it, to knock it off course, so it didn't impact Israel. But if you hit Israel with 5,000 rockets at once, then you can't really account for that. You're going to have some holes in the system, and that's what happened. So they get bombarded with rockets. And then, see, you have the Mediterranean Sea. You have people on boats coming from Gaza over maybe Tel Aviv, somewhere like that, up here and attacking Israel that way in the water. And of course, they have their own navy essentially, and then they're out there intercepting them, but still, they're attacking them that way. There was a guy who was paragliding in from a tall building in Gaza into Israel. Paragliding. I'm talking about like, I don't know, Batman or something with the cape flying. It was crazy. And then they had what appeared to be some kind of drone or helicopter dropping bombs on an ambulance from Gaza in Israel. So they're doing all kinds of things. And they also had guys on the ground in Israel going door to door, going into people's houses and slaughtering women and children, whatever. The videos are graphic, very graphic, disgusting actually. So earlier in the day, about noon, they said the death toll was about 100 on the Israeli side and 200 on the Palestinian side. But that's what they say. That could be accurate, inaccurate, and of course it's going to rise because it's going to be offensive, counteroffensive, all kind of stuff. But that's what's happening right now in Israel. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, says that they've declared war against Hamas. And they are also, when I say they, I mean mainstream media, they're trying to say Iran's to blame. Now, Iran could be involved here because Iran is known for sponsoring these kind of things. Back in 2002, there was a news story that broke on Fox where a boat or a ship got intercepted by the Israelis with a bunch of weapons on it. Millions of dollars of weapons got caught on the boat, and they traced the weapons back to Iran. Now, again, it could be true, could be false, but they're saying Iran is the reason why Hamas is able to attack Israel because they get armed and funded by Iran because they want to sow division in Israel and they want to strengthen the Palestinians. And also, there's peace talks in between, or I guess you would say normalization talks in between Israel and Saudi Arabia. You know, Mohammed bin Salman and Benjamin Netanyahu trying to get on one accord. Not to be besties, but they want to be cordial. Now, this could be a reason to interrupt those talks or get in the way, some kind of way. I don't know. But that's the backdrop of what's happening. Now, Iran could be responsible, but check it out. They're saying that the $6 billion that the U.S. unfroze basically to Iran, because let's be clear, the money that the U.S. gave to Iran as part of the prisoner swap was Iran's money. I got to be honest about that. I can't sit here and lie. The money was frozen because of sanctions. It was their money that they earned rightfully through the oil industry, but because of the sanctions, they were locked out of having access to their own money. They could not be part of they could not be part of the International Monetary Fund or the system. So their money was in the bank locked up and they couldn't have access to it. This is why Barack Obama has sent the pallets of money, because they could not get wired money through the banking system and they had money frozen in banking system. So we basically took the money out and gave it to them in cash. Now, what's happening right now is that the money is in a bank account in Qatar. And in order for the money to get withdrawn, it's got to be a process. And as of right now, no cash has been withdrawn from the bank account. It's all still there. However, some say, well, look, they got $6 billion and now they can give the green light to Hamas to go ahead and do that. But check it out. This had to have been planned for months. It's a highly coordinated attack. It's not just a random rocket, random incursion like always happens. This was highly coordinated, up to 5,000 rockets at once, ground troops, air troops, sea troops from Hamas attacking Israel. This took months, a lot of money, and I don't think that Iran is some poor, destitute, backwater place looking for American hostage money to go do a thing like this. It's been going on for a long time, planned for a long time, and they finally went ahead and did it. Probably because right now there's a holiday in Israel, and there's also the peace talks happening, and you got weak leadership in the U.S. and the rest of Europe. So do it right now, and then see what the response is going to be. Are we going to get involved? Will Europe get involved? I don't really know. But we'll see what's going on. I don't think the $6 billion made a difference. I think this has been going on for a long time. Iran and no Iran, they were going to do it anyway. And there's been fighting happening since the beginning of time. Before the modern Israel existed, before the British-Palestinian mandate, back to ancient Egypt, there's always been fighting in this area of the world. And if you ask me, from my opinion, it'll never stop. It doesn't matter who's there, what it's called. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Left wing, right wing, don't matter. There's always going to be fighting. If it ain't the Jews there fighting the Muslims, the Arabs, it's going to be the Sunni, the Shia, the Wahhabi, the Christian. It's going to be somebody in this area fighting. It's a crossroads of the world that's going to have conflict naturally, in my opinion. Okay, and it's written in the Bible. If you believe in that, I sometimes do, sometimes don't, but it's right there. It's right there. It's never going to stop. It's always going to be fighting right there. So we're just in the next phase of it. I'm not trying to dismiss or downplay what happened here. You know, people actually died here, and rest in peace to them. Prayers out to their family. But let's put it in context. There has always been fighting in this part of the world. Always. It'll never stop. Ever. And the oil, of course, and making it no better. But before the oil, which is a problem, obviously, that's a conflict. Before the oil, there was fighting. The oil just made it worse. It made people that were already fighting over mounds of sand now have the ability to use money to fund their fight over mounds of sand. The same sand is still right there in the desert that's been there for forever, but now they got money to be able to fight the war more efficiently and more deadly. That's all. And no more camels and whatnot in the desert with swords fighting over mounds of sand. Now we got tanks and planes and drones and everything else. Now we can fight a high-tech war rather than using swords and camels. Now we can use tanks and drones. That's what's happening. But again, this is a crazy situation. I got some videos, of course, of the conflict. I can't really play a whole lot, but we're going to get into it. Mono says before the oil, there was salt. Exactly. It's always something. It's always something, and it'll never stop. Unfortunately, I wish we could have peace in the Middle East. Okay? That's an old school term right there. You want to feel old? When did that term come out? Peace in the Middle East. When I was a little kid, that was a thing. Here I am, gray beard. They're still doing the same thing. And never going to stop. It's always going to be something. But let's keep on going here. We got a few things to get into. We got a few videos to show from the conflict. And I'm not going to show everything because these things are pretty graphic. So I'm only going to show some things that are not as graphic. I might be able to put more on my website, of course, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. But let's show a few of these videos. and then we'll keep on rocking and rolling. All righty. But yeah, Tel Aviv's under siege right now. Everywhere is definitely under siege. There's one video of a young lady. I'm not going to show that video, but there's a video on Twitter of a young lady back up in a pickup truck. She had dreads or something. She was white, but she had dreads in her hair. You may have seen the video. It was pretty gross. Her body was really twisted up. She wasn't even Israeli. She came from Germany. She was just there for a party or something and got killed in the process. It's really bad out there. Really, really bad. But again, you're in this part of the world where you're going to have this kind of conflict. And that's just kind of what's going on. All right. So we got some videos from Trey Yingst out there. We got some videos of the bombings. We got a lot we're going to show. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and get up out of there. And there we go. Let's show some of these. All right. So here is a party that was happening. It reminds me of Burning Man, but it's not Burning Man. Let's play this. Now, what's happening right here is that their party got interrupted. It's an outdoor party by Hamas shooting. So, I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, imagine that you had this party. It kind of puts it in perspective. When you're talking about, remember the whole thing with Burning Man in Nevada, where their issue was that it rained and they couldn't really get out and they were stuck there. Imagine you're at that same kind of place, but rather than the rain being the problem and the mud being the issue, you're getting shot at by active armed militants. Indiscriminate, because these may not even be Israelis at all. It could be people from all over the world just going to Israel as a tourist. You could be talking about, you could be a tourist going to this place. Now you're getting shot at. I mean, and people that are going to these parties are not prepared for anything like that. Because why would you be? You're just trying to go listen to music, vibe out, have a good time, not become an enemy combatant to some foreign power. Okay, let's keep on going here. Here's some videos of the rockets. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Look at this. Now, this many rockets, obviously this was planned a long time in advance. And I'm not quite sure if I really harped on the issue, but I don't know how I don't know how Mossad was not able to see this coming. How do you pack 5,000 or so rockets into this little piece of land and Israel has no idea? How did the rockets get there? Through the tunnels from Egypt, Mediterranean Sea? How did they acquire 5,000 rockets and Mossad knows nothing? This was a dramatic failure of intelligence. Dramatic failure. Allahu Akbar. All right, so that's that. And let's see some more. I'm gonna turn the sound off or down a little bit. So it's bad. You're looking like, you know, like somebody said it, Gulf War. You're looking like that.
אתם סתם מתקרבים, יכול להיות שהמכל דלק יתפוצץ מישהו יפגע פה. הגיע משהו? אתם סתם מתקרבים, יכול להיות שהמכל דלק יתפוצץ מישהו יפגע פה.
Now, somebody says it's not a failure if it's intentional. You know, I thought about that, but then my question would be, why? Why would Mossad allow this to take place? You know, that's my question. I'm not saying you're wrong for having that opinion, because I had the same thought, but I'm just wondering why they would allow this to happen.
אתם סתם מתקרבים, יכול להיות שהמכל דלק יתפוצץ מישהו יפגע פה. הגיע משהו?
Now, you got to be careful because there are some fake footages out there. I've seen quite a bit of video game footage floating around, so be careful of what you see. There are some fake things happening, but a lot of this stuff is real. No pun intended. I'm not trying to be funny. Let's keep on going here. Now, here is an example of Hamas going door to door and just invading people's house. We're talking about like a residential neighborhood, people's just living, minding their business, and then you get these guys coming to your door. Now, this could happen right here in the USA. Now, is it going to happen? I doubt it, but it could. Now, what if you have these guys, all black on, Allahu Akbar, coming to your door, trying to burst in? What are you going to do? This is part of the reason why we got to have our guns. Yo, come to my door talking about Aloha snack bar. Okay, well, take this. You're going to get a little bit of everything I got. You're going to get buckshot, bird shot, head shot, leg shot. You're going to get everything. You're going to get all the tricks up my sleeve. I guarantee you. I'll tell you what. Watch this. So you see they're mobilizing. All right, I'm gonna turn that down because I don't want nobody to get triggered here. I mean, what do you do in this situation? What do you do? This is a regular house. Somebody just living here, minding their business, cooking breakfast in the morning, and then they getting lit up like this. What do you do? So that's one thing that's happening. They're going to regular people's houses. Men, like really, a lot of women and children, a lot of women got slaughtered here. And there were some really graphic videos of women. There was one video of the lady in the van. I ain't gonna show that one because that was pretty graphic. But it's quite a few videos like that. Now, let me see if I can. This is a video of Palestinians allegedly celebrating. So I mean, that could be recent. It might not be recent. It might be an older video, actually. Be careful of some things you see on the internet. It might not always be true. Let's look at this here. This is a video of, it's kind of graphic, but it's not as graphic as, it's not as bad as what I've seen before. So what you have, it looks like Hamas and or just regular Palestinians on top of a tank, getting someone out of the tank. So that's pretty graphic. I don't want to show that too much. The person might have been dead right there. But yeah, that's what's going on. And then they're all surrounding them, kicking them. And then there was another video of the lady I'm talking about that had the dreads, the white lady from Germany. I believe she was dead in the back of the truck and they were spitting on her. It was pretty gross. These are just regular, look like civilians wearing regular street clothes. It's bad. It's really, really bad over there. And the question is, what's the response going to be? I've not been following every minute of it. Last I saw that they cut power to Gaza. Of course, they're going to do something like that. They're going to cut the power. But then what's going to be the next thing they do? Okay, what are they going to do next? Is it going to be like an all-out attack on Gaza? And to be clear, Palestine technically is identified as the regions within Israel of Gaza and the West Bank. But the fighting is coming from Gaza, not necessarily West Bank. And West Bank is a little bit different because part of Jerusalem is also West Bank. I think like East Jerusalem is Palestinian and the West is Jerusalem. And you have certain settlements of Israelis in West Bank. It's really complicated, but to be clear, the the fighting's coming from Hamas in Gaza. That's where it's really coming from, just to be 100% clear. But let's keep on going. And again, a lot of these videos are very graphic. I cannot play all the videos. So let's play some of the things I can play. Now, this video is, it says, moments ago, dozens of rockets and long-range missiles were fired from Gaza nonstop toward Israeli settlements. Sirens sounded in different regions, including Tel Aviv. Iron Dome failed to intercept. Carnage, definitely carnage happening all over the place. Now let's see some more here.
Ima.
And the caption here said Channel 13 in Israel is reporting that an estimated 40 to 50 Palestinian infiltrators were able to successfully enter Israel. They're actively targeting Israeli residents. So you see in the back of the truck right there. And if I was him, I would hide. I would not even really be in my window like that trying to see what's going on, because that's very dangerous. All right. Now, these guys are Palestinian fighters returning to Gaza in a stolen IDF vehicle. That's Israeli Defense Force. All right, now let's see this one. Now here is some of the water. Now it says footage of Israeli warship engaging a boat from Gaza attempting an infiltration.
התקפות בלייב. התקפות בלייב, קבלו. וואי. מי זה הסירה הזאתי? אחי, זה נראה לי מחבלים, באמא שלי.
So as I said, they're attacking Israel from the water, from the air, and from land. This is an all-out attack. And of course, as I said, this has been planned. It had to have been planned for months. There had to have been a lot of coordination, funding, planning, not just a random, okay, we're going to attack them right now. At this moment, spur of the moment. No, this was a planned, well thought out, and well-funded thing. But the question is, how did Mossad not know? Again, when you're talking about Israel, they control Gaza and West Bank to a certain extent, because that's part of their territory. They monitor it, they control it, they have borders, they got walls, they got checkpoints, but somehow they didn't know that there were 5,000 rockets and boats and all kind of artillery and guns and weapons and everything else coming into Gaza. Gaza, somebody said it in the chat, 16 miles long. That's it. So what's going on? Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. And that's Trey Yanks talking about what's happening. And this guy, Palestinian resistance fighter, set an Israeli tank on fire after seizing it near Gaza.
تم خطف جميع من كان داخل هذه الدبابة. جميع من داخل هذه الدبابة تم خطفهم قبل قليل من قبل عناصر كتائب القسام في هذا المكان كما شاهدنا بالعين المجردة. كما شاهدنا بالعين المجردة. تم خطف جميع من.
So that's what's going on. All right, got a tank on fire. And there's more here, but I want to show this one here. This is a clip from MSNBC. Now, this is very controversial because of what's being said. They're talking about basically the reason why it's happening is because Israel deserved it because of how they treat Palestinians. That's what they're saying to a certain extent. Let's watch this. Let me keep on rocking and rolling.
recognition of anything that has been going on, let alone the only thing Americans are worried about these days are these so-called judicial reforms going on in Israel, which have led to hundreds of thousands of people protesting on the streets. But lots of Palestinians have said to me, boy, they wish that those same Israelis who were out there protesting the so-called judicial reforms would be protesting Israel's inhumane treatment of the Palestinians who live under Israeli occupation. But that's just not something that's happening. It's not something we're hearing from American politicians this morning. It's not something we're hearing from, I think the only comment I've heard is from the government of Qatar this morning about this.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're right. People, American politicians and other politicians think they can just ignore the context in which all of this is happening. The fact that Israel is an occupying power, the fact that Israel has violated international law and Palestinian rights as per, the experts, the leading UN agencies and leading human rights organizations around the world, like Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International. Their word is reliable and acted on in other areas, but not here, because Israel is the U.S.'s ally, because Israel, you spend taxpayer money on buying Israel defense systems and trying those defense systems on Palestinians. And you don't want to bother that. You don't want to change that balance or change the status quo. But the fact is, there's an entire people who are living on.
So there you have it. That's what's going on for MSNBC. Now, again, controversial, but what do you guys think? Do you think that my man Velshi, do you think that he was correct? Or the lady right there, was she correct? Personally, I think that there's going to be fighting in that area forever, and it doesn't really matter what you do. It's always going to be fighting. But I think you should have a two-state solution, because what else are you going to do? Like the argument is going to be that the Palestinians are in these areas where they always have been, even if they have more that come from Egypt and from Jordan, respectively, into West Bank and Gaza and other parts of the Middle East. They might come from Lebanon, Syria, etc., into Israel. They may come there and they feel like they're being oppressed by the Israelis because there's certain restrictions. There's like divided roads. Like if you want to come from West Bank, you got to drive on a certain road if you're Palestinian. It's crazy the way they got it. I might play a little bit of that to show you what's going on in the country so you get a little bit more context. But as long as you have the Israelis basically kind of like having these areas partitioned off as separate but still part of Israel and not independent, you're going to have problems. But the issue is that a lot of people that are there in these areas are there because of how modern and advanced Israel is compared to, let's say, a Jordan right next door, or even Egypt, for example. I mean, do you want to live in Cairo or Tel Aviv? Do you want to live in Cairo or Gaza? I don't really know. So that's kind of what's going on. And again, before 1948, Israel was declared a state by the Israelis. Before that, it was the British Palestinian Mandate. That land was Palestine, according to the British Mandate. So people were already there, although it was sparsely populated, they were already there. So then when Israel says, okay, we're going to be a Jewish state only, now we got a problem. And that's never going to be, it's never going to be an issue. It's never going to be a situation where that's not a problem. It's always going to be a problem. So what do? Find a solution. Rather than just saying one side is 100% right and the other side is 100% right, find the middle ground and try to work it out that way. Because if you don't, the constant fighting will become more and more severe. And you're going to inch closer to World War III, because that's where it's going to be. They're talking about Ukraine and things of this nature. Where it really might happen is right there, where the fighting has always been, right to the very beginning, right to the beginning of man, back to Mesopotamia, back to Assyria, right back to where it started. Right there will be where it is. Because there could be a big event, a nuke might mess around to get used. Now we're gonna have Iran, Iraq, and Saudi. Then it's gonna be complicated because Saudi is a U.S. ally. Then we gotta get involved and attack our ally. It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a big mess. So what do? What I say is that we don't really get involved. The moment we get involved, like with troops on the ground, boots on the ground, is over. It's all over. the thing we do right now with the proxy wars and whatnot is bad enough. Funding Ukraine so they can fight Russia for us rather than us fighting Russia directly, because that'll start World War III. That's bad enough. But then putting boots on the ground, man, it's going to be a wrap. That's going to start World War III right there. If anywhere, it'll be there, not Ukraine, Russia, China, right there where it all started. It'll go right back from ashes to ashes and dust to dust. We would start from nothing and go right back to nothing right there. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And somebody said it. I'm not really a Christian guy. I respect Christianity. I respect religion for what it is. And I understand the importance of religion. And I respect people's faith. But I'm not really into the man-made religion. However, I have read the Bible many times. I know about the Bible. And this is all written. It's right there in the book. It's right there in the book. Somebody said it right there. It's all biblical, and it's going to get worse from here. It's right there in the book. It says it. So, again, I think it'll happen right there, right where it's always been going on. That's where it's going to happen. Not anywhere else, unfortunately. All right? But I hope it's not anytime soon. I hope so. And I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that we can avoid conflict, or they can avoid conflict, to be more accurate. But I don't know. I don't see how it's going to happen. All right. Now, before I go any further into what I'm talking about, let's do super chats and get to calls, because I don't want to spend the entire time talking. But what do you guys think about what's happening in Israel? Do you think that it's going to resolve anytime soon? Do you think that there can be a solution? Will there always be conflict in this part of the world? Is it always going to be like that? Is it hopeless? And as far as a solution for what's happening in Israel, what's best? Two-state solution? Israel destroying Palestine? Palestine destroying Israel? What is the solution? Because what's happening right now, Israel pretty much dominating Palestine, it's not going to last. It's not going to last because people are going to keep fighting. They're going to keep fighting. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't really matter. The point is there's going to be constant fighting as a result of the conditions. You could think that the Palestinians are wrong for doing what they're doing, that Israel's right, that Israel's wrong. It doesn't matter what you think. What matters is what they think. And they think that how they're being treated is wrong. And they're going to react as a result. So you got to find a way to solve it. If it was me and I could just make things happen just by, clapping my hands, if I could just make things happen, I would say 2 states, Palestine, Israel, done. If you say just Israel, no Palestine, now we got displaced people ready to fight, Allahu Akbar, ready to be a martyr. If you say Palestine, no Israel, now we got Jews displaced, a lot of angry world powers, now we got problems. So either way, you're gonna have problems. Find the middle ground. That's what I say. That's what I say. All right. But let's keep on going here. Do super chats. Then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Some say 2 states won't work, but it's already 2 states. It's just not 2 independent states. Yet you have Israel as an independent state, and then Gaza and West Bank, Palestine, as occupied territories, essentially, that are like semi-autonomous. So it's like, just free them up. Let them do their thing. That's what I would say. And Gasser says, 2-state solution sounds the best option to avoid continued bloodshed. I agree. Now, whether I personally agree or disagree with the Palestinians, with Hamas, it doesn't really matter. I'm looking at what's the best option going forward. All right, let's keep on going here. Shout out to Spitfire for the donation. I appreciate you for the coffee mug emoji. Thank you to TriEdge716 who says, unlike the Ukraine-Russia war, we have direct live footage in Israel clearly depicting strife within hours of attack. Prayers out to those affected. God bless you for your coverage, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. That's a very good point you made, because there's a serious lack of Ukraine war footage. But as soon as the Israel-Palestine Hamas thing jumps off, you get footage instantly, right away. Very good point you made there. Thank you to Phil Rooftop for becoming a member or being a member for a long time, who says, ABL, you're awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you to Curtis for the 100 donation. He also says, very sad. And what border? Thank you to Pete Sangrio, who says, in 2015, Trump asked black people, what do you have to lose? Now they know. Thank you to, well, there you go. Talking about the Chicago illegal aliens. Yep. Thank you to Blue Baggins, who says, it's a bad faith argument, compare it to your student loans. But at the same time, she's made terrible financial decisions, and this victim music and excuses are just excuses. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there, boss. Thank you for your super chat. And thank you for being a member, becoming a member. Thank you to, I cannot read your name there, boss. You got a bunch of Roman numerals in your jank. I don't know what's going on. But thank you to you. He says, I can't read it. You got emojis and Manchuria. Thank you for that, though. Thank you to Angel Rivera, who says, hey, ABL, belated congratulations on 1 million subscribers. Your content is still my favorite. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for your generous super chat. And thank you to Ricardo Jones, who says, the honey buns be calling me, ABL. I can't help it. I try to stay away, but they are too good. Hey, man, that was me back in like 2007, 2008 for sure. Thank you to TSM Space, who says, nothing kills my junk food cravings like a proper healthy meal, which also makes me want to get up and move around more productive. That's right. Thank you for that. Thank you to Jeff Costello, who says, I can't read that. But thank you for your super chats. Shout out to Boat vs. Windshield, who says, fun fact, over 50 countries recognize Palestine, Hamas, but less than 20 recognize Taiwan. Try to figure that one out. Hint, China. Yeah, China, listen, China don't really play that. You try to recognize Taiwan, they don't play around like that. They say, that's China, and that's it. You want to play games like that? Okay, well, you're going to have a problem. So China does not play around like that. Israel is a little bit more lenient. And then also, most of the countries that recognize Palestine are going to be the Muslim countries, showing solidarity with the people there. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Think of the Tri-Edge, who says, it's time we built a Gundam to send to the Middle East. One is like, yeah, if you get a Gundam, that would definitely work out a lot for sure. Thank you, Papa Naya Shelley, who says, I'm reserving judgment on the Middle East conflict. I mean, it's election season. You never know what's real and what's propaganda. Sad to be that. Exactly. Thank you to Tri-Edge, again, who says, what people need to realize is that what transpires overseas will eventually be our problem, i.e. 9/11, unless left unchecked. And thank you to Zedder's Cane Sword for gifting 10 ABL memberships. I appreciate y'all for that. So, super chats, I read those. Let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get Skype up and running. There's also an email in the box, so you could be right here, bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and talk about things that are some kind of way politically related or on topic for the show. Excuse me. Again, 434-658-1220. All right. Let's keep on going. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's up at 8 Ranger Xbox, buddy. How you doing?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. I'm not going to touch Israel with a 10-foot pole.
I hear you.
But I do know this. If MSNBC saying something, believe the exact opposite, because in 2012, Obama's government overturned the Monk-Smith Act in the middle of the defense bill, making it legal for the media to lie and be used for government propaganda. Before 2012, it was illegal for them to be used for government propaganda. That's all I got to say about that. Now, dogs. This is something I know about. I adopt champion bloodhound, Bavarian female bloodhounds from one of the top AKC breeders on Long Island. I currently got 2 under my feet right now. both females, both been bred twice, and they're done. I don't braid them. I don't shell them. They're just members of my family. And I take them to like Lowe's and stuff like that. And most of the employees there know my dogs are big babies. I could take the dog to the Family Dollar here in town without a leash on, and she'll sit right next to me. I'll just tell her, Sally heel, Sally heel. And she stays right against my leg. She don't move. And this woman goes, you ain't got a leash on that dog? I said, I don't need a leash on this dog. And I looked at the man. I said, watch this. Stick him, get him, catch him, attack, kill. Come on, do something violent. And the dog's just sitting there looking at me nice, fat, dumb, and happy. You have to make a dog attack. Now, Rottweilers are like number 3 on the bite list. That's not because of the dog. Rottweilers are made to, they come from Germany, from the farms where they live outside with the livestock. And you can't have livestock dogs killing all your livestock. They love the farm animals. They live with the farm animals. They herd the farm animals. They're very physical, like rugby players. They'll bump and crash into each other, and and they'll do it with the sheep and the cows when they're herding them for the farmer. But they're very protective, and that's what my dogs are. My neighbors. If my dogs get out of my stockade fence, my neighbors can put my dogs back in the yard. But God help you if you put a hand on my child. God help you, because they're not going to play that. And that's, I mean, I can't tell them to attack anybody because they've never been trained to do that. And Biden's dog, that dog's being abused. I mean, quite frankly, you're looking at someone who has zero patience, expects the dog to speak English, which they don't. You have to read the dog has to read you. And I got to thinking about you and you possibly having a dog, and I think the perfect fit for you would be a Boston Terrier of a good bloodline, good pedigree. That would be the dog for you because they don't shed. They're highly intelligent. The one thing that you might find annoying in the beginning is they will not scratch at your door to get out. They won't whine or anything. What they'll do is they'll come over and they'll sit down in front of you and stare at you. And you're supposed to psychically know that they want to go out and use the bathroom. Anyway, ABL, I'm going to, real quick, taking my dogs through Lowe's. This great big brother, he was about a young kid, 18 years old, but he was the size of Shaq. I mean, he was like 6'5", 350 pounds. I mean, huge mountain of a young man, brother. Comes walking around the aisle at Lowe's, and I got my 2 Rottweilers there, and they're just fat, dumb, and happy, saying hello to everybody. And he just stops and looks at the dogs, and he's terrified. You can see the horror on his face. And I look at him kind of disgusted, like I said, dude, they're black. And all of a sudden, his face was just relieved, like that was the magic thing, that the dogs were black. So everything was okay. They're good friends now once he got over it. But I told him, I said, look, dude, my dogs love everybody. And that's the thing with dogs, like German Shepherds and stuff. Yes, they are aggressive, and they are protective, but it's how the dogs are raised. That's the number one thing. And I'll let you go with that, ABL. Great show. God bless America. Take care, buddy.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Yeah, we don't really play with dogs, though. If I see 2 big dogs in the store with no leash on, I'm going to just stay over here because I don't know your dogs. I don't know what's going on. I'm not really trying to play those games. I'm going to just, stay over here. 786 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Mr. Anthony Brian Logan, how are you, sir?
Everything's well. How about yourself?
Fine, thank you. Yeah, it's just that the one thing I think a 2-state solution can work with Israel and the Palestinians. However, I think the Palestinians are going to have to disavow Hamas because with Hamas in the lead, they have in their charter, they specify in their charter that Israel must not be allowed to exist at all. And there's the rub probably right there. And what I find interesting too, just historically, is that for centuries, that whole area was ruled by the Ottoman Turks. And I don't see anyone complaining about the Palestinians not having a homeland when the Turks ruled.
Because that was them, wasn't it? The Ottomans, like, weren't they part of that?
Yeah, they were. The Palestinians, what is now modern Israel and all that, was part of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Turks ruled it, and I think it's primarily for religious reasons, because also, too, a lot of Muslims feel that the whole Middle East is Muslim land, and here we are having these non-Muslims, Israelis being predominantly Jewish, ruling, an important part of Muslim land, basically, as Israel is a foreign colony on Muslim soil, to, put it loosely.
Yeah.
And the Palestinians get a lot of support. My wife is from Indonesia, which is the largest Muslim country in the world. And she was sharing about how the Indonesian media is covering it. It's like the Palestinians, Hamas, I should say, Hamas didn't even fire a water pistol, and all the attacks have been, one-sided. It's been Israel. Every bomb, every missile, every bullet fired has all been Israel. And that Hamas has done absolutely nothing.
Right on. Well, I mean, it's definitely a long conflict there.
Well, yeah. Well, of course, conflicts have gone on there. When you look at history, they've actually gone on there for thousands of years. And it's a crossroads of three continents, and certainly it's considered very holy and sacred and God granted land to, the three most antagonistic, described as the most antagonistic faiths in the world. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's it. Well, at any rate, that's all I have to share for tonight. I know you got 1,000,001 callers behind me, and I did give you a thumbs up. You had over 1,100, and I think that number's growing.
Thank you for
take
that,
care,
man.
and God bless, and have a good night.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Sure.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. 650, you don't line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Harrison from the Bay Area.
All right, man. What's going on?
Just wanted to say shout out from Gen Z, man. And I don't know, you're doing some good work. And I guess the one question I would have is, do you think that Israel would sacrifice some of its own people to get a certain outcome, to somewhat false flag Palestine, and Palestine operating in a response?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't really see the purpose. Just like I think we could do the same thing here in the States. I think we have done that in the States to achieve certain things.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly what their goal would be in Israel to do something like this.
Yeah, I mean, I only say that due to the fact that everybody has been saying that, they should have been able to defend against this. Granted, it is a small amount of land, so strategically it'd be hard. But at the same time, it is Israel, and they are funded very well. So it's possible that in order to possibly gin something up, they might have let things soak through the cracks, if you will. But I don't know. Anyway, that's all, man. I hope you have a good night, and keep doing the work that you do.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Peace.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Anything's possible. But I don't really see the purpose. 276 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello. Is this Anthony Brian Logan?
Yes, it is.
Well, I've been listening to you for several years, and I really enjoy your show. Even though I said it's 276, I'm actually from Tennessee. I just wanted to call in and say I'm praying for the people of Israel, but more also for the people of America and Christians all over the world, because it is essential right now to be united, not divided. We have so many congressmen in office that have dual citizenship. I think it's 30. We have at least 5 senators with dual citizenship, and people aren't always informed. And United States, we were 90% Christian country up until the late 80s. And now we're down to 60%. Whereas in Russia, they're still 90% Christian country. And Russia was very much involved with protection of Israel. But with the current climate globally and the United Nations and the cabal in general, deep state, whatever people want to call it, Russia is not able to protect Israel right now. And I feel that it is because of the current resident and what happened with our election. I just enjoy your show so much. And thank you for staying on air and staying on YouTube where so many people can find you.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Shout out to the caller, but I got to say, I don't think any senators have dual citizenship with Israel. Maybe I'm wrong about that. If anybody can correct me, y'all tell me who has dual citizenship with U.S. and Israel. Y'all let me know about that. Who am I speaking to? 617, you on the line?
How you doing, Brian? Anthony?
What's going on?
What's going on? I have to agree with you. You know, I will have to correct you, but in this one, I have to agree with you. There will never be a solution, or the solution is far away from between Israel and the Palestinians. No one wants to give up. United States overwhelming support over Israel doesn't give it a Palestinian a fair deal, and other Arab countries, they're gonna fight from behalf or provide weapons to Hamas. So it's true. I mean, I don't see it to be a solution ever. I mean, like you said, they've been fighting for forever. So I don't think there will be a solution. I think there will be times that there will be fights. There will be kind of there will be situation that will be fighting among each other, and then things will cool off, and the peace talks, and then they will go back to the same thing. But I don't think it will never be peace. I just don't see it. I mean, Obama tried, Jimmy Carter tried, all these people tried, they all failed. And also, Netanyahu is just that guy is just a knucklehead that he got there, and then it's not for peace. So it's gonna be difficult. So I give you that one. You are very correct in that one. I have to give that to you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
All right, no problem.
Well, there you have it. Now, he got off the phone before I got him about the Benjamin Netanyahu thing. Benjamin Netanyahu is recent in terms of the history of Israel and the history of that region. Before Ottoman Empire, like before anything that we know of modern, that part of the world has always had conflict. So it doesn't really matter who's there. Benjamin Netanyahu just recently came back to being the prime minister because he was gone for a while, right? And you still had problems then. Let's keep on going here. 681, you don't learn who am I speaking to.
Hi, ABL. My name is Makai. I just wanted to talk to you about the current state of what happened with Biden sending off money to
Hold on. Before you continue, can you turn Shim off in the background for me, please?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me now?
I hear you well. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. I genuinely feel like Biden definitely, at least this administration knew that this was going to happen. And I feel like I could be going crazy, but I feel like the October 4th alert was in preparation if anything were to happen, such as stuff like this. I genuinely believe that they definitely knew, and that essentially that they were just trying to inform the American people, like karmic retribution, how all the weirdo Satanists essentially tell you what they're doing, such as like what's on cigarettes. If they'll be held liable if they don't tell you that it's poison, but they'll have like the Surgeon General warning, like this will affect pregnancy and this can kill you. So they had to tell us exactly what was going on beforehand and to prepare before anything were to happen. And that's just essentially what I feel like exactly what happened with all this happening, because Biden ended up sending that $6 billion or whatever off to Iran Iran for sure is probably most likely, hypothetically, probably helping them.
So, do you think the U.S. is behind this? Because are you saying the U.S. knew it was going to happen?
Oh yes, for sure. I genuinely believe that they knew it was going to happen, and they just wanted to tell people, "Hey, be prepared for this to happen." And then, normal American citizen is usually worried about TikTok more than they are something going on inside the Middle East, such as Afghanistan. Nobody really cares about that anymore, if you think about it. Like, true patriots genuinely care about what happened over there, but.
So I got to ask you. I got to ask you the question. So if the U.S. saw it coming, why would they let it happen?
I'm not 100% sure, but I just like karmic retribution. I genuinely feel like they wanted to tell people about this, and they just wanted to I guess just to have like more money funneling in from like Raytheon and the other groups that essentially the politicians end up having their hands in with and they're rubbing their elbows with. I feel like they just wanted to see something like this happen, like Ukraine, for instance, just pop up.
That's interesting. Very interesting point of view.
But yeah, ABL, I'm gonna let you go. I just wanted to just let you know exactly what I thought. I could sound crazy, but I just wanted to let you know. Thanks, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
So that's an interesting point of view. So what do you guys think? Do you think the U.S. knew about it? Now, if the U.S. knew about it, that means that they were behind it because they could have easily stopped it. The U.S. has endless resources, and we're tied in with the Israeli intelligence, with Mossad. CIA is the same thing as Mossad, essentially. So if we knew, then they knew. So that means we're behind it. They say it was their 9/11. They might have meant that in more ways than one. But I'll digress. Let's keep on going here. 781, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Peter Vesta. How you doing?
Oh, well, about yourself?
I'm doing great. I have a quick question for you, kind of about the last caller. He was mentioning about how America might have known something about it, and what I'm curious about, keep seeing these titles that, like from the Babylon Bee, they had this title that said, the White House condemns the attack and that they funded this and that. And I'm trying to figure out, can someone explain how that could be like a true statement? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's the first time Babylon Bee is saying something that's true. It's true. It's true. It's not satire. It's true. How does that, could it be true? Is that true? Like, how could that be articulated to be true?
I missed, like, what did they say again? Repeat it one more time.
They basically said that, the White House is condemning what happened, and essentially it's that they are the ones who funded it by giving all that money. And I'm trying to figure out, how is that something that could be true? Like, how is it that that's a true statement, or is it even?
Well, I mean, it could be, but it's not, because the previous caller was saying that the U.S. knew that this was going to happen. That's a little bit different than them giving Iran money and then Iran using the money to do something like this. Because the whole thing with the money, that was a hostage exchange. And people are saying, since they let the money get back into the Iranian hands, and, the U.S. said, okay, it's going to be in an account. You can't take it out for certain things. They're trying to control it. But Iran said, we'll use it for whatever we want to use it for. So indirectly, they could have been funding it. I don't think that's correct, because I think this has been going on for a long time and planning it for months. I don't think that Iran was waiting on this money to get freed up before it did the attack. I think they were going to do it anyway, and it's been in the plan, it's been in the works for a long time. But I could see how somebody would think that this, the money being released to Iran could have funded it. I could see how that would make sense to somebody.
Yeah, right. Because that thing specifically said, I pulled it up now so I can read it. It says White House issues condemnation of attack Biden funded, and it's like, okay, well, that's a pretty bold statement. But what you're saying is that, yeah, it could be articulated as an indirect thing, but how are you going to know? You don't have the paper trail sort of thing. But it could be articulated as an indirect sort of funding, I guess.
Of course.
If you want to be a tinfoil hat kind of thing, but. Interesting, very interesting. Well, thanks for your time, ABL. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And let's keep on rocking here. 707 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Margie. It's a pleasure, ABL. I've been listening to you since before you even hit 60,000 subscribers. And I appreciate everything you've done to raise the consciousness of all people in America and possibly the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
I'd like to say that I think that this is another kind of J6 in its own way. It's like, how could you not know? The 50th anniversary of their defeat. And these guys aren't going to take a chance to, to let the world know about how that was 50 years ago. I mean, it's like, that's elementary. You should be thinking about that. Let's see, my greatest enemy. They might do something on their defeat day. That is just beyond stupid. I think people got a lot of money in many, many different ways to make. And I think it's good for Biden because, we don't change horses in the middle of war. And so he could be doing that. Money could be flying hand over fist. I've got a bunch of different things cooked up all the time, ready to drop at the moment's notice,
Right on. I hear you.
So, yeah, it's really hard to see what this wonderful country has been turned into. We were so on the way to being a united nation. Truly, we were. And I don't know, I don't know what the end game is. I don't know if they're going to, keep us for parts or, whatever. I don't see how it's going to benefit them truly in the long run. And I'm not that religious, but I heard that basically they say that at the end or more of the end times, there'll be people that won't be of God. Maybe that means evil, not the devil, but of God. You won't know them. And we're kind of seeing it with all the, kids swarming and people doing, children killing children. It's a crazy thing, and I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but I just want to say, people, hold your spirit tight. Hold it close. Be compassionate, but be wise. That's all I got to say, except to love my neighbors. Be cool to your neighbors, but know who they are.
Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Great call. And shout out to you guys for calling. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL, it's Danny. Thanks again for taking my call, mate. You're right, how you doing?
Everything's all good, man. About yourself?
Yeah, everything's good, mate. Yeah, I'll quickly talk about this whole Hamas situation, man, real quick, if that's cool.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So I've been listening to everyone, and I agree with your take, man. I mean, I don't think that there's going to be a resolution to it. I mean, how long has this conflict been going on for now? I mean, it's older than me. I mean, right? I mean, it's been going on forever.
Forever, yeah.
But one of the callers, though, when the guy called you up and he finally agreed with you on something, but I'm pretty sure he forgot to mention something, though, about when Trump was in office, or when Trump was president for 4 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there seemed to be silence, right, with Hamas and Israel on the conflict, right?
Yes. As far as I know, it wasn't too much going on.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure exactly what Trump did, what policies, what kind of, but I'm pretty sure it was silent. So I guess his administration was doing something. I mean, he did something, and then all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure in Biden's first year, I don't know if I remember this correctly, but in Hamas, there wasn't their attack within Biden's first year's presidency, and now this is the second attack, right?
I'm not quite sure about the first one, but there's been a lot more activity. I know that.
Yeah, so obviously, oh yeah, maybe I'm thinking about something else, but again, he pulls out of Afghanistan, leaves the Taliban, millions of dollars of weaponry, and I don't know if the Taliban allies with Hamas, if they're aiding them, if they're helping them. I mean, do you think there's a connection there, or?
That is a thing that people are talking about, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as for that, again, it's the same old story, right? I mean, things go quiet for a little bit. Hamas strike, then Israel retaliate. 10 times worse. But that's what you were saying before about, what if Israel, if they knew about this, if they would let this happen. And the only reason I could think of is, well, would they let this attack happen so they could just, retaliate 10 times more and use that as an excuse? But this has been going on forever, though. It's not like there's something new, right? So I don't know why they would let this happen, or if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think they'll really do that. I don't really see the reason. Like, I don't see the purpose. I don't see the reason. Like, I would need to have that explained to me how that would benefit them.
Yeah, I just think, again, it's just the same old story. I mean, yeah, the same old story. Just and I don't know who's behind it, but again, with the current Biden administration, there seems to be a lot of havoc around the world, and obviously there are people behind it making money, as they usually do. And I don't see it ever ending until, I don't know, either Israel or Hamas or Palestine just get obliterated. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any answers to that, really. I mean, and sorry, as for Hillary Clinton, that interview, that the video you did on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she was saying about the whole, Trump supporters or MAGA or whatever, they need, was it re-education or reprogramming or whatever it was? I mean, well, what does that mean? I mean, what happens if someone doesn't want to change their mind, doesn't want to change their views? What, you're going to kill them? Because what happens to a program that can't be reprogrammed? You delete it, right?
Exactly. That's correct.
So to me, that's just her literally blatantly on camera saying, now I know this might see some people might say, well, I'm taking it out of context, but that's her saying that we need to kill right wingers, Trump supporters. We need to start a war. We need to start a civil war. That's literally what she's saying, right? Or am I just crazy?
I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds just like it.
Yes, this is what I mean. But people like her, and that's how they get away with saying these things, don't they? They get away with it because I don't know how they get away with it. And yeah, as for Biden's dog, clearly there's again a lot of issues with obviously, because I own a dog and I've had to go through extensive training with him, because that's I think one of your duties, one of your responsibilities as a dog owner is to train your dog, not just to make your life easier, but to make everyone else's life easier on the street with their dogs as well. So you're never gonna put someone else's dog's life at risk or whatever it is. And I think it's just Biden and the family clearly not treating that dog right. It's going for either sort of physical abuse or mental abuse. I mean, it seems like mental abuse. It seems like they're just not putting in the right training with the dog. Because as far as I know, the dog's not a rescue, is it? It's not like it's been through trauma before, is it? I don't know.
I don't think the dog was a rescue. I think the dog was gifted as a pup, like brand new, straight from a breeder probably. So I don't know how this whole thing is happening, aside from the fact that Biden is not treating the dogs properly.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. They have no excuse then. If you've got that dog from a pup, then you should be putting in the work to raise it right and to train it. Because clearly, when dogs act out like that, because dogs generally don't want to go out and harm people. They don't want to bite. They generally do it out of fear if they feel like they're threatened or anything. And when people take on breeds like that have the capability to do harm, like XL bullies, Cane Corsos, German Shepherds, that list you read out. Like when they bite, they can do a lot of damage. So you need to train them, and even more so than other dog breeds. You know what I mean? So, but again, I'm not surprised with the Biden family. I mean, his son's a crackhead and a corrupt sod, just like himself. So, I mean, again, it's not really surprising, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah. So yeah, don't want to take up too much time. Thanks again for taking my call, ABL. Great show. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Bye, man.
All right, great call. Yeah, the whole thing with Biden's dogs, he's definitely mistreating the dogs because You got not one but two different dogs that are biters. Obviously, you're doing something wrong. 215 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL.
What's going on, man?
All right, so can you hear me clearly?
I hear you well.
Yeah, I had to turn the stream down. And ABL, I heard you when you were talking to one of the callers. You remember the attack on Israel that happened back in 2021, 2 years ago, when Biden first started?
I don't remember that, actually.
Oh, I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised. But then it's like you cover so many stories, you can't remember every single thing that happened. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Are you good?
And yeah, you can't really cover every single story. I probably figured you probably forgot. I was like, yeah, he probably covered so many stories. He probably cover like 3 stories a day.
Yeah, every day, 7 days a week.
Oh yeah, that's a lot to keep up with. But I still remember that. That was when Biden's first term happened, when they had the Iron Dome, when they were shooting the flares up to guide the missiles away, when they were shooting thousands of rockets at what was it, Jerusalem? It was all right. I gotta look it up again. It was either Jerusalem. I know they're firing rockets in Israel from Gaza, and this is the second attack. Because when I seen it on the news report, I saw your video pop up. It said there was a missile attack in Israel, and I was like, again by Gaza. I was like, oh boy, what happened now? But it's like, what happened now? It's like they're at war with each other.
Yeah.
And the part that gets me is like the fact that this was a surprise attack. I was like, I'm waiting for more details to come out, but I doubt is like any more details is going to come out. You can't trust the mainstream media. You have to like really look into it yourself.
Absolutely.
And one more thing, ABL. Did you ever hear about that $80 million jet? Did you hear anything about that? Did they ever find that?
You talking about the jet that was missing in South Carolina?
Yeah, where the pilot ejected out of, had it in autopilot and still kept flying.
They said they found the debris field, and the debris field. I saw the debris field. It wasn't much left of the plane. It was just a bunch of torn up grass and trees and stuff, but not too much of the plane.
Yeah, we all knew that was going to come to that. We all knew that was going to come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
But thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night.
All right, shout out to the caller. We'll certainly appreciate him. And you guys are great, the best audience on the internet. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 770, you're on the line. Who am I speaking
to? Chris.
All righty, what's going on?
I just wanted to talk about that Israel invasion a little bit and maybe the border wall. But just real quick, I mean, people need to realize that there's really no such thing as a Palestinian. When the Romans kicked the Jews out of Israel during the last Jewish rebellion, they renamed Israel Syria Palestina. So that's where those names come from. There's never been a country in the history of the world called Palestine. And even if you go online and look for Palestinian artifacts, there's nothing really before 1930. There's no like historical tie to that land. And the people they call Palestinians are really ethnically Jordanians. So really the country of Jordan should take all those people in, but they won't do it because the Arabs use them as a political tool to harass Israel.
Well,
So
okay. Well, wait a
that's
minute.
the
Wait.
situation.
Okay, let's go back a little bit because let's add some context. So you have the British Mandate of Palestine that lasted from 1901 to 1948, correct?
The mandate was after World War II.
So
That's when the mandate started.
okay,
And then when Israel declared themselves a nation after that, that's when the Arabs attacked Israel the same day.
okay. Now the question is, who was in the place that was the British Mandate of Palestine? Who was there?
Well, Jews were actually living there, and they actually started buying up land from the Arabs that lived there.
My man, you're not really answering the question. Who was there? Was it what people were there? Pardon me.
Jewish people were there and Arab people were there.
Okay. So then, excuse me, when the British Mandate expired in 1948, and then Israel said, okay, we're going to be a Jewish state, where did the Arabs go? Did you hear me? So
where would that?
So I'll say one more time. Hold on. I'll say one more time.
Okay.
So when the British Mandate of Palestine expired in 1948, and then Israel declared themselves to be independent as a Jewish state, where do the Arabs who were living there go? What happens?
Even then, Israel was partitioned into Jewish areas and Arab areas. So it was kind of a mishmash of areas that they had that kind of mishmash together. So the Jews with their areas, they became a nation, and then that's where the Arabs the next day attacked Israel from different sides, and Israel gained more land.
So did Israel, as an independent state, have Gaza and West Bank as part of their country the way it is now, or was that a different country?
They claimed that area from the succeeding 3 wars. Every time Israel is attacked,
the question, you kind of evading. So the question is, when Israel became independent in 1948, did they claim?
Right.
I got to ask the question before you. When Israel became independent in 1948, after the mandate expired, as a Jewish state, did they also have the land that is currently Gaza and West Bank?
No.
So that wasn't part of. So what was that? Who did that land belong to?
That land belonged. The Arabs had that land.
So what country was that then?
It wasn't a country.
So what was it? It had to be like you said. Wait, hold on. It had to belong. Okay. You said it belonged to the Arabs. So right next to Paul, I gotta just be able to talk now. So if it belonged to the Arabs, the land right next to West Bank is Jordan, and then right next to Gaza is Egypt. So was that not Egypt or Gaza? Was it Palestine? Was it Israel? Who did it belong to? It wasn't just no man's land with nobody claiming it at all. So what country did it belong to? Did it belong to Israel? Did it belong to Egypt? Did it belong to Jordan? Or nobody? Or was it independent as Palestine?
It didn't belong to anybody at first. This is where the British Mandate comes in, because actually Israel was supposed to be from the sea over and all of Jordan, but the British made a deal with the Saudi family, whoever the king's family is in Jordan, and they gave them Jordan. So what they were going to give to Israel shrank, and then it shrank even further because the Arabs complained. So they gave the little bit of land that they had chopped back to give Israel. They split it between the Jews and the Arabs, but the Arabs never wanted a country called Israel to exist because they hate Jews. So when Israel declared themselves a state, Islam can't stand that, so they attacked Israel to destroy it in its infancy, but it did not work. And Israel gained more land because they took over from the attackers, as what happens in war. They took that land that they were attacked from as spoils of war.
If the land was already partitioned between the Jews and the Arabs, and then after Israel became independent, it was still partitioned the same way, and Israel did not have control over Gaza and West Bank, what was the point of them attacking them? Since it was already divided, it was already partitioned anyway.
Because the Arabs cannot stand having a nation called Israel exist.
But they were already there. Already there. I think the problem is, I think they were already there though. If the Jews are already there, then it wouldn't be a problem. I think the problem was that they took Gaza West Bank. They took the land that was under the Palestinian mandate and made it be just a Jewish state, and then the places where the Arabs were became under the control of the Jewish state, rather than it being.
But they didn't take the land; they conquered the land, just like we did in the United States.
So
when
they
somebody
did take
attacks
it.
you and you take their territory,
So they
that's
did take
spoils
it.
of war.
So they did take it. So what I'm saying is correct.
They did take it. Yeah.
All right then. So we're not having an argument about that. What I'm saying is correct. Then it doesn't really matter how they took it. They took it. That's the point I'm trying to make, and that's why there's a conflict. And until that can be resolved, there's always going to be a conflict, because what's happening right now is that the Israelis control, they own Gaza, West Bank. They control that. It's not an independent state. It's part of Israel. It's partitioned off as a place for the. Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna just, you kind of been on for a while. I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna let you talk. It's been a place that they allow the Arabs to live, but it's under the control of the Israelis. That's the problem. That's the issue. Now, if it was just left to be Jordan, the same way Jordan is right there, then it wouldn't be a problem. Same way if it was Egypt, the same way Egypt's right there, then it wouldn't be a problem. But that's not what's happening. Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. I mean, personally, I'm not against the Jews or anybody. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Arabic. I don't live over there. I'm just saying, this is just the reality of the situation. It was the British men after the Ottoman Empire. Then it became the British Mandate of Palestine. There was no Jewish state. The Jews take over the British Mandate of Palestine. They take and make it be a Jewish state, although allegedly, according to him, you had the Jews and the Arabs living together. Then they say, okay, now it's just a Jewish state. But wait a minute. We got Jordanians. We got Syrians. They want to take Golan Heights as well. So if you're taking land, as you said, by war, some are going to say, well, the war's not over. I'm going to still keep fighting. So until they can resolve it, I say with a two-state system, it's never going to stop. But as I said before, that particular part of the world is going to always have conflict. That's just what it is. Let's keep on rocking here. 859, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Usual caller as usual. I've been just on my my work break. I just wanted to call into the show. It's listen to when I was working. So what's up, man?
Oh, it's all good, man. What's going on?
All right, man. Hey, I was listening to the whole situation between the Jews and Israel, and the situation between Palestine, Hamas, and stuff like that. There's one big problem with Hamas. They don't want the existence of anybody who is even Jewish. That's the reality is. You have that conflict of interest. I've met some Palestinians and I've met some Israelis. A lot of them, working class people in those countries, they're just average people. They don't care about their next door neighbor to the other. They usually mind their own business. These corrupt politicians like Netanyahu are the ones who are pushing more into war, more into poverty, more into violence, and it needs to stop. Because you're right. I mean, they definitely need two different states. But the problem is you've got a terrorist organization that wants to get rid of anybody with any form of Jewish Israeli blood. That's even including me because I'm 1/4 Israeli. And I don't know if there's any way of fixing this problem or not. This is a war has been happening for ages and ages and ages. This is nothing new. And it's going to get worse and worse as years come by. I mean, we might have short bursts of here and there of terrorist attacks, but there's no solution that I think that anybody else can think of.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be going on. It ain't never going to stop. That's going to be a constant.
It's gonna be a constant thing. And the best thing you can do is, like you said, two different states. But even with that, you're going to have some short burst of terrorist attacks from either side. And, also what we need to do is, I think our government needs to stay out of it. I know our government kind of supports Israel, and we give them funding. and gives them ammunition. But this is not the 1980s anymore. They spy on us. We're allies with them, but they spy on us. Israel spies on us. And also, even though we fund them, we both fund both sides to basically fund more wars, more chaos. So our country is actually doing more harm than good to the situation. And it's going to be a long road to even repair of what's going on. There's a lot of human rights violations on both sides on this aisle. And one side's going to say the other side, they're going to point at each other, but they're both. You can't listen to the propaganda. The propaganda, you can't tell who's telling the truth or not, or who's speaking propaganda. And I had this one person trying to send me an article saying that, this innocent, EMT got shot who were on the field because the Israeli soldier shot her in the face and stuff like that, and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, this is the same kind of stuff I'm hearing from the other side. And you can't trust it. So I think the best thing we need to do, I think our country needs to stay out of it.
I agree.
That's the only thing we can do.
Right on.
And also, you talked about Paris recently. I had a friend who went, I think last year, tried to go ghost hunting over in Paris, France, underneath the Paris catacombs. The cops stopped them. You know why they stopped them?
Why's that?
Normally, it's illegal to try to go into the Paris catacombs alone. The cops did not know that. They had expensive equipment, and the cops said, if you go out on the streets, somebody will mug you for it. That's how bad it is. That's how bad that Paris has gotten. So I'll just give you a heads up on that, man. Hey, loving the show, man. I'm a big fan. I'll talk to you guys later, bro.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, no problem. Hey, guys, check my show out. Check my YouTube channel out. I do ghost hunting. And I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the call.
All right, now.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And shout out to you guys as well. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to, who am I speaking to? 617?
Hey, ABL. It's Jenna from West Virginia.
All right.
Just wanted to kind of chime in on the Israel thing real quick with a little bit of a plot twist here. Because I've now been seeing videos, and obviously I can't independently verify them, so take it with a grain of salt. But I don't know if you've seen them too on X or whatever, of Hamas riding around in like American military equipment. And then also the video of them thanking Ukraine for the RPGs.
I've seen that, yeah.
So this is where it gets really weird. Back in like late June, the Jewish News Syndicate basically like red flagged this and was like, hey, because we have one of our largest our war reserve stockpiles over in Israel. In like 2014, it was like 100 million. I think it's like 1.2 billion now, right? So what we were doing was we were taking, back in January, they approved a whole bunch of stuff to go from Israel, from our stockpile, to Ukraine. So it's very weird to me that Hamas is saying they got this stuff from Ukraine. No.
Is it weird?
I mean, it seems a little weird that they're saying they got it from Ukraine. And then the other thing that was just, it's probably very obscure at this point, but Israel, like everybody, if you watch the regular news, they'll say, oh, well, Israel has access to the stockpiles. They do, but they need to get approval from Congress. They can't get approval from Congress right now because there's no Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
The timing is just weird.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I wanted to kind of throw that plot twist out there.
That's definitely something to think about for sure. Absolutely.
Thank you for everything you do. Have a great night.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, I hear stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised if the weapons that we're supposed to give to Ukraine end up all over the world. Not surprised at all. 773, you don't learn who I'm speaking to.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. How you doing?
Everything's all good. About yourself?
Thanks for taking my call. ABL, there's a book called Diplomacy by Henry Kissinger. For those of you who don't know, Henry Kissinger was Secretary of State under Nixon. The book is a huge book. It's called Diplomacy. And it talked about, using diplomacy in order for the fact of not having wars and to keep your enemies and friends all in line and in check around the world. Once Biden, the way he got out of Afghanistan and left all our equipment there, once the world saw that America, who really was the policeman of the world, like it or not, that's what we were. We're the teacher, we're the school marm, however you want to look at it. We are the police of the world. Once they saw the weakness there, that Biden was, run out of Afghanistan and left all our equipment there for his enemies, then suddenly, Russia says no better time now than the present to get, into the Ukraine. Then we send all our money there because, we're affiliated, or Biden was affiliated with Ukraine and everything else. Now I saw a program, ABL, on 60 Minutes Australia, and an aide and an interpreter in China, the former interpreter in China, was letting them know that Australia and the U.S. better not interfere with, and he used the term, with China's Taiwan. So even China is looking that there is no time than the present to get our hand back into Taiwan, even though it's part of Taiwan, was part of China. They have that whole thing where they have a little bit of independence. You have this instability. And in that book of Diplomacy, it also talked about the military-industrial complex. The people that supply all the weapons, that make billions and billions of dollars, they want these conflicts. And here's the thing. Now those bombs were sent. You need to replace the bombs. You get the military-industrial complex rolling. They're making millions and billions of dollars. We're into diplomacy. It says you need a strong military. You have military contracts and you develop weapons, but it's not to the degree where they want wars. The people in charge of these things, they want these conflicts and these things to go on. I wouldn't doubt that Iran money funded some of this, and this is why it's happening now, besides the fact that Biden is weak and is there. And it's the same thing. Follow the money. It's the same thing with the schools, ABL. Now some of these schools like Stanford, they literally have bodies, the people that are working for Stanford and these other universities, they have hundreds of people, if not thousands, in these different positions making money. Why? Follow the money. These schools are getting all this money. The military's getting all this money. It's a money thing. They want to just grab as much money, and they want to try to keep their position to collect that money. Anyway, that's my 2 cents about it, ABL. And thanks for taking my call and listening to me, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, that will be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys for being here. I appreciate everybody for joining the show tonight. Always a great one. Always a great time. Great callers. Great conversations. I will be back again live on Wednesday, of course. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern, so right around right now, which is 11 p.m. Eastern. And this will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform as a podcast, audio only, at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be on Spotify, Google Play, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description. Or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And thank y'all again for being here. Shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I most certainly appreciate you guys. I could not do this show without you. So I thank you. Now we got a few more here. I think we pretty much got everything on the super chats. Thank you to ZX's Kane Sword, who says, this year is for Pam Ronning. She supports the show. Shout out to Pam. And thank you to Tamisha, who says, great show as usual. Get you a Cane Corso, please. I might look into that. Shout out to I like Cane Corsos. Might have to get one of them. And that's one of them big dogs, ain't it? I don't know. That might be the future for me. We'll see. But shout out to you guys. I'll be back live again on Wednesday, and I'm here pretty much every day putting out pre-recorded content. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and do that. And please, on the way out, give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.